Trent, how are you?
Great. Excellent weekend. Great night of sports last night.
What a comeback.
That was awesome.
When they closed out the first half the way they did,
Yeah,
I thought Minnesota was done.
me too.
I'm like, you can't give up.
First quarter and second quarter.
Yeah.
Like, just huge runs.
Then they quit making shots.
Did you see the scene at the PGA? DeChambeau tosses his ball to a little boy, and an older man intercepts it and begins to run off. And DeChambeau's walking to the 10th tee, and DeChambeau stops, turns around, and yells at the guy, "Get your ass over here. Da, da, da. Give the ball to that kid. That's who it was meant to." Okay. Guy sheepishly hands the ball to the kid. DeChambeau goes walking to the 10th tee.
Wow.
I don't want to say Valhalla played easy or anything, but hoo-ah.
7,600 yards. And they made it their B.
Justin Thomas was right, man. I think it was Thursday, around Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Maybe it was Friday, but I thought it was Thursday, in which he said, "Hey, man, you can make it 8,000 yards. Soft greens.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. We're in the final third of May already. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. That's how we're rolling. Hope you'll tune in to twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton. Mark wearing one of the 5 best t-shirts he has. It dates Miller and Moulton, but we're beyond the point of trying to pass ourselves off as young. Okay. Mark, what's your t-shirt?
Carver High School Athletic Department.
The White Shadow, ladies and gentlemen. Trent, look it up.
On it right now.
Yeah, you would have loved the White Shadow.
Oh, loved it. Loved it.
I don't even know if the White Shadow is featured on any. I've not seen it. It doesn't mean it isn't. But between all the streaming services I have, don't know if the White Shadow exists in the streaming realm.
Let's face it, some of the shows that if it was up to you and I, well, remember, you've got that channel that debuted a couple months ago, AM Sports.
Right.
Which, your channel was broadcasting Scotty Scheffler getting arrested live. It's a big thing for your channel. Anything that happens from 12:01 a.m. to 11:59 a.m., Mark's interested. That's his channel. When he wins the Powerball and hundreds of millions, he's going to take a little for his side. He's going to start this morning sports channel. I've got the exclusive rights to anything that happens during 11 hours and 58 minutes. But if by chance we started a channel ourselves, just kind of odd streams. I don't know if that's a good name for a channel or not, but that's what I'm thinking. Odd streams. The White Shadow, soap. Where else you want to go? Stuff that was really only around, usually less than 5 years. Those shows that are almost considered like cult classics.
The White Shadow didn't last very long.
I think it was a 3-year thing.
3 seasons.
Yeah. What was it, like 78 through 80, something like that? Oh, loved it, man. That was me in junior high about ready for high school. And there it was talking about the big issues of the day in high school. And I mean, they talked about all the big issues of the day. Mm-hmm. On a weekly 1-hour drama. And he threw in a little basketball in with it. You know, they were kind of like the Knicks. Similar colors. Couldn't win the big game. All right. You know, I mean, maybe that's why I was a fan of Carver High School.
Could be, David. Could be. Maybe that's what it was. Always having to play through a little injury and adversity, much like the Knicks had to do this season.
Right. I mean, you know, this was Ken Howard. He wasn't heavy yet. Okay. But, you know, Ken Howard, Tom Thibodeau, yeah, you know.
Defense first coaches.
No doubt about it. You know. Anyway, so much for this home field, home ice, home court advantage. Huh? Game 7. You got to get it at home, Mark. Got to get it at home. It's what you play all season for.
Right.
Just to get it at home.
And the way that the Pacers played in New York in the 3 previous games gave you no indication that they would have a Game 7 in which they would dominate.
Although their last 2 home games.
No. I said no games in New York, David.
I know
Certainly,
that.
They were great at home. Yeah. They showed that the bright lights scared the hell out of them up until Game 7.
They finally adopted the personality of their coach, who was angry guy all series long, trying to get his team to play with the necessary intensity. Trust me, I know. I played in this league. I played on teams that went farther than you. I know what it takes. In fact, I coached an NBA champion. You may want to listen to me on this one. I know what it takes. You guys need to play harder. And by the second half of that series, they were listening to their coach. And then let's just face it, at the end, they were healthier. Not only were they better, but I mean, they were healthier. They had their dudes. The team they were playing, they were losing their dudes 1 game at a time. That helps, Mark. The Knicks, to me, reminded me, you and I love our hockey teams. And sometimes, like, remember the Florida Panthers last year? They're going through round by round and what have you, and they're losing like a guy around. And by the time they got to Vegas, it's like, we don't have half our dudes healthy. This is going to be a problem. We've had a lot of that in the NBA playoffs. Kawhi hurt for the Clippers. Mavs beat them. Giannis hurt and Dame for the Bucks. Pacers beat them. Then, you know, the Knicks injuries. I mean, injuries have played a role. Embiid hurt for the Sixers. Maybe that's why the Knicks beat them. But just what we thought, Mark. We have a 3 seed, a 5 seed, and a 6 seed in the conference finals in the NBA playoffs. This happens all the time. And by all the time,
we mean never.
Right.
Ever.
This is not an NCAA tournament bracket. What was the region that NC State was in this year? You know, and Duke, like a 4-11 region final matchup. I feel that almost that's the NBA playoffs right now. Minnesota's a 3, Dallas is a 5, the Pacers are a 6. I think it's kind of fun. I don't think NBA does, but I don't think
the NBA thinks it's all that fun. I don't think TNT or ESPN finds it all that fun.
Well, just as long as the Celtics keep winning.
Right. And you'd probably, if you were a network, boy, I don't know, you're tossed up between Minnesota and Dallas. I think you'd probably pick Dallas because of Luka.
And a bigger market.
Right.
You would. I think you'd go Dallas. Here's my question, though. Will the T-Wolves ownership dispute be solved by the end of the NBA Finals? I mean, could there be an issue in which, you know, the commissioner doesn't know which old guy to hand it to? I mean, how awkward would it be? All 3 of them on stage? You know, the A-Rod and his guy on one side and Glenn Taylor, a longtime owner on the other, who's clinging to the franchise, still won't sell it to him. Even though the other guys are like, we met all the deadlines and we have the money right here. No, you didn't. No. I say you didn't. Oh, okay. I'm taking it back.
Got to admit, I'm already getting sick and tired of A-Rod cutaways.
I'll blame that on the network, though.
I am.
I can't blame A-Rod. I mean, he's entitled. I mean, you come up with a couple $100 million out of your bank account. Aren't you entitled to good seats?
David, I'm just telling you, these cutaways are going to get really old really quickly.
Here's what I'm thinking. They have home court in the next round. They'll be actually, see, how many Timberwolves fans were at the game? 17? Say that was the thing. T-Wolves were making a run, then they start to win. There's no one to show. See, now, hopefully for the T-Wolves, there's other people to show.
Just saying. That's all.
Well, A-Rod and Bryson DeChambeau kind of had similar levels of popularity, I think, coming into the weekend.
I think Bryson's far more popular than A-Rod.
Well, now I'm saying. I mean, it's coming into the weekend.
Okay, you're saying they were equal. I still say Bryson was more popular than A-Rod heading into the weekend, but it certainly was a hell of a lot closer on Thursday than it was on Sunday.
And A-Rod's team won, and Bryson finished second. And who's more popular today?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh, my goodness. It sounded like they were rooting for him.
David, I rooted for him to make one putt, and I've never rooted for Bryson DeChambeau. But on 18, I still had no problem with Xander winning it. Right. I wanted him to have to birdie 18. I did not want him to have to make 5 to win the PGA on a relatively easy par 5. So I wanted that putt to go in. I wanted some drama for the last 20 minutes of that tournament. And he provided it.
He did. But Schauffele gets it done, wins his first major. If we were a golf show, our poll question today would be real easy. Now that Schauffele has won the PGA, who's the best player today never to have won a major? That's a really good question on the Golf Channel.
That's all right. They'll have LPGA taped events showing this morning.
Yeah, that was not a good look for the Golf Channel Friday morning. Yeah. No one player in the world's getting arrested. And if you kept flipping over the Golf Channel all morning, you had, that would be nothing.
Nothing. They're the Golf Channel. They were running tape delayed programming.
Yes, they were. About noon, a crawl emerged while you were seeing the first round of the LPGA tournament from the day before action. Right. Then all of a sudden, by about noon, you got a crawl. Hey, Scotty Scheffler got arrested. Okay. The Golf Channel. Got it. Mm-hmm. Great job, Jeff Darlington of ESPN, Bob Wischusen, a couple other guys who this is where I think it helps that non-golf guys were there and they just went into reporter mode. They're not emotionally attached to any of these guys. Mark, we see it all the time in sports. Hockey guy won't necessarily come down hard on hockey people. It sometimes takes the local columnist who covers all sports to really spit it out. ESPN reporters just went into reporting mode. Imagine that.
Still looking back upon that is as bizarre of a thing that's when you and I were doing a live show. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's been a lot of different events. We did afternoons, we've done mornings. We've seen a lot of different things while we've been on the air. But the world number one getting taken away in handcuffs and stuffed into the back of a cop car is something I did not expect to see while I was doing a show.
It wasn't this segment on Friday. It was the next segment. We're nearing the end of it. And you're all of a sudden not paying attention to me and you are staring at the television. And one of our listeners in the Twitch chat room just typed, Scheffler got arrested. And I'm like, that's got to be a typo. We went to break, and, well, obviously, we know what happened from there. Miller and Moulton. Starting 5 is 25 minutes away.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Boy, rough Denver sports weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Not 500 yet, Irish football. Listen, I don't know that the Rangers get by the Panthers. But there's no doubt, we said it late last week, the Rangers and the Mariners did not put the Astros away. Well, I think if Edmonton wins tonight, there would be no bad series because Edmonton would at least be entertaining. But Dallas against whoever comes out of the East will be a glorious final. Love the Gong Show, E.B. Hill. Loved the Gong Show. Match game PM when they're drinking. Well, supposedly Irish football, the legal stuff gets taken care of tomorrow. All charges get dropped. Well, he could, but I don't think he will. Realtor Clark, you could argue that, well, it didn't help him win the PGA. It has probably helped him. I could argue it's helped him more than winning the PGA.
The bigger question is, does Barney Fife sue him when nothing happens over the injuries?
Yeah, I don't know that he can. Can he?
I don't know.
Can a cop act like once you join the force?
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know either. Do you still have individual rights?
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. Terrific sports weekend. We had some great game sixes, some very noteworthy game sevens. We had a golf major championship with a first-time major winner and a very exciting finish. And goodness knows, about as eventful as a golf tournament as one could ever imagine. I mean, I don't know if you saw Max Homa's post, Mark, in which he said, man, rough week in Kentucky. I got beat by a guy who got arrested. For that matter, he beat most of the guys in the field. It was at the top of the second page of the leaderboard. Not bad for being in custody for a couple hours on Friday morning.
Says a lot about the whole pre-round routine.
Right. Well, as he said, he did some stretching while in the joint.
Right.
Or as he said, I'm in my jail cell and I look up and they're talking about me getting arrested on Get Up.
I was amazed he talked about it as much as he did.
Yes.
Post-round Friday.
I was too. I think it served them well, though.
I agree, but I was surprised. I didn't think we'd hear much other than my lawyers are handling this.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that was his intent, but the questions were phrased in such an underhanded way, open-ended way, that he just kind of took it and ran with it. So, I know it. Mark, trust me, Miller and Moulton know that you all think you can do this job as well or better than us. Trust us. We know. Okay. But if you're ever doing an interview, there are two key things besides being prepared and all that. Okay. One is to get the person you're interviewing talking. All right. That's very important. The second most important thing is to listen. Don't just have your list of 4 questions and that's all you're concentrating on. When they're done talking, I got to make sure I phrase question 2 the right way. No, actually listen to what they say. You usually get more off a follow-up than you do off of a brand new question. And I thought the media did a good job. The question, by the way, that got him talking was from Marty Smith, who's known more for college football and racing, but has in the last couple of years done some golf. And Marty's gotten to know a few guys. And Marty Smith at ESPN asked the question in a way that it got Scotty talking. There was no way to answer the question with a 1-word answer or a 2 or 3-word answer either, the way the question was phrased. And it got him talking. And once he got talking, he did, okay, wow, he gave us something there. This is a hypothetical. You'll never know. I'm going to ask you, though. I'll let you be judge and jury, Mark. What would have benefited Scotty Scheffler more in the long run? The events of this weekend or him winning the PGA Championship?
It's a great question. But I think winning the PGA Championship. I still think winning and being halfway to Grand Slam would have done far more for Scott. Not far more. Would have done more for Scotty Scheffler than what happened. But it's damn close, David.
I was going to say, Mark, I actually, unless he would have followed up this PGA win with like winning the Open and taking the possibility of a slam across the pond, I think this was amazing for him and the way he handled it. He thanked the Louisville Police Department and then goes on to talk about how important the police are in this country. He talked about how great they treated him. He's walking off the course. There are 2 fans wearing a T-shirt of his mugshot, and he high-fives them. We thought this guy was a robot. Honestly, pet rock, cardboard cutout Scotty Scheffler. Who had more personality heading into the PGA?
Rock, cutout, Scheffler, in that order.
Right.
I know what you're saying, but halfway to the Grand Slam, but that's only in the golf world.
Right. This now, I mean,
he passed Max Homa as Barstool's favorite golfer, or Koepka. I mean, these guys who have done long time, Max Homa and Brooks Koepka have been going on with the Barstool guys, attracting themselves to that audience for a while. They don't have a free Scotty T-shirt on the website.
From an endorsement standpoint, could Scotty Scheffler had endorsed anything that was non-golf before the PGA?
Now think about what he could endorse.
Well, I'm being serious though. Even if he had won the PGA, he's still just sponsoring golf stuff. Now, what can't you include Scotty Scheffler in for your ad?
I think might be flipping the coin at the Gin and Juice Bowl this year. He's so popular.
I don't know. I just, the events coupled with how staggeringly well he handled them. I don't know. Technically Schauffele got the biggest win of the weekend, but I really think it's close.
And hell, David, I'm not joking when I say this. Where are you putting Bryson in this? Because Bryson was public enemy number 1 not too long ago, and he's walking off 18, making a birdie, getting everybody fired up. He goes and shakes Schauffele's hand where everybody saw it, which was a total class move.
Yep.
He did wonders for himself in the past 24 hours, David.
It was nice of them to, tear up that pitch and putt. That 7,600-yard pitch and putt they were playing. We'll have a stat for you coming up in the starting 5 that will just blow you away. Even if you're not into golf, you'll be like, damn, that's stat. That's coming up. I mean, that could be our poll question. All right. Who is the biggest winner of the PGA Championship? Xander Schauffele or Scotty Scheffler? That would be so Xander Schauffele, right? Win the major, and we're talking about Scheffler and DeChambeau.
Yeah.
It just, nice guy, hell of a player.
And able to, I mean, when he bogeys 10,
a par 5,
an easy hole,
Mhm.
easiest hole for the week on the golf course, and he bogeys it, missed a short putt.
Yep.
After slapping it around a little bit and a couple of chips, and then he misses the putt.
Yep.
And if you were like the rest of us, you went, oh boy.
Here it comes.
Here comes the implosion. He's done it too often. And he birdies 11. He birdies 12.
Yep.
And he's right back.
Lets everybody know today's going to be different. Today is going to be different. Yeah, I know that guy chasing me is going to put a 64 on the board. I can get him. I can get him. So we had some good drama.
And Schauffele knew. I mean, the scoreboards were there. He knew he had to birdie 8. He knew coming in, knew exactly what was going on from 7, because there was a group between where DeChambeau was and where he was playing. So he knew everything that was going on and handled it with unbelievable composure.
And he still might be only the 3rd biggest winner of the weekend.
That's possible.
That's how much personality is important in this country. We like our personalities. Show us some personality.
Thought you were about to start singing there for a second.
You want me to do a little
personality?
You want me to do a little cult of personality?
A little cult of personality. Now I'm in. David going in living color. Instead, he'll go with the starting 5. That's next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Do you want that to be the poll question?
So apparently there was quite the confrontation after the All-Star race.
Yeah, punches thrown. Ricky threw a solid punch.
It was Stenhouse and Kurt Busch.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle Busch?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kyle Busch. My bad.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark Lai to look back at the PGA, look ahead in the world of golf. Mark Lai to join us coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern. Right now, how about a time for a poll question before we get to the starting five? What are you thinking?
Well, it's interesting you say that because during the last commercial break, I asked you,
right?
Do you want to go with that as a question? And you came back to me with, did you see what happened at the NASCAR race? So the fact that now, while we're on the air, you want to discuss the poll question when I specifically asked you about the poll question during the break. And don't give me this. I'm not looking at your stuff because I've got 6 windows open. I'm doing today was a day when. I've got other stuff going on too.
You do.
Oh,
you
multitasking, Moulton.
I was guilty of assuming that whatever it was you brought up was what we were doing for the poll question. Okay, because I leave that to you. You're better at it than I am. I'm awful at it. I know we had broached a couple of possibilities, and you had said something about the poll question, and I thought, well, okay, we'll just go with that. But maybe that I said that to myself.
Definitely said it to yourself.
And apparently out loud, I said, hey, did you see the fight in the NASCAR All-Star race?
Bingo.
So, Mark, what are we going with as a poll question?
Well, I guess we're going with who had a better weekend for their popularity. Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler.
Okay. Do you want to put the results next to them? Winner, T8. Anyway, 20 minutes now before the hour. Time for
The starting five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Number 1 is the PGA Championship. It was the easiest PGA Championship ever. That's not an opinion. That's fact. Valhalla in Louisville, Kentucky. And they've hosted PGAs before. They've hosted Ryder Cups before. Yeah, it rained leading up to the tournament. It rained early in the tournament, and those greens were soft. And that course was defenseless. 7,600 yards, whatever. They hit it a mile. Okay, rough, deep in parts. Fairways were as wide as states. I mean, anyway, Xander Schauffele won. He birdied 18. He shot a 665 on Sunday to beat Bryson DeChambeau by 1. Victor Hovland, who was tied for first down the stretch, faltered late, finished 3 back in third. Nice to see Hovland playing well again. He went back to his old coach. He was playing amazing golf at the end of last year, ditched his coach. Played awful golf for 5 months, went back to his old coach, first tournament, nearly wins the major. What the hell are you leaving your coach for? It's like Phil in 04, changing his clubs. What are you doing? All right, back to Valhalla. So, Mark, before Valhalla, the easiest major championship ever was the PGA at Riviera in 1995. Steve Elkington won that at like 17, 18 under, something like that. And that week, the total scores were 40 over par. Over par. And that was the easiest PGA ever. At Valhalla, if you added up all the scores for the week, the consensus score was 214 under par. This course was 254 strokes easier than the second easiest PGA ever. It gets us into a discussion about, do we need to go to that golf ball that's not going to go as far? And will it matter?
I don't know.
Because the R&A and the USGA in 2 years are planning on bringing in the ball that's not going to go as far. And the Masters said last month that they're open to the idea of using it and they're going to seriously consider it. Justin Thomas, I think it was after the first round on Thursday, he said, yeah, you can make the course as long as you want. If we got soft greens, we're going to tear it up. We're just too good. And that may sound arrogant, but I mean, Mark, 7,600 yards. When you were in the rough, it was not a fun experience. Fairways were wide, greens were soft.
David, when they're hitting 8 irons, 190 yards.
DeChambeau hit a 6 iron from 240. Now, he's, a bit of a monster out there, but I mean, 240, 6 iron.
I don't know if dialing the ball down's even enough. Without elements, without really tight fairways, without rock hard greens, I don't know how you slow these guys down.
So hats off to Schauffele. Birdie's 18, wins his first major. He gets off the schneid, if you will. Probably the second golfer in the world right now, Xander Schauffele. DeChambeau second, Hovland third. Scotty Scheffler shot a 65 on Sunday, finished tied for 8th. Rory T12, Finau T18, Koepka T26, Max Homa T35. By the way, Justin Thomas finished tied with Scheffler at T8.
And give it up for Jeremy Wells, who's a teaching pro at Cypress Lake in Fort Myers. Made the cut, was the second finisher among club pros in the tournament, but did make the cut, ended up 6 over, but a tremendous week for Jeremy.
Yeah, wasn't it the club pro from a course in Pennsylvania? Wasn't he a few under par?
Yeah, Brandon Shattuck ended up 1 under par.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Club pros making the cut at the PGA. By the way, if the poll question was right now, who's the best golfer in the world not to have won a major? Your big three is what? Homa, Cantlay. Who am I missing? I'm missing one other in the top 10. I know. In top 10 of the world rankings, I think.
Is Oberg in the top 10 of the world rankings
Well,
right
I think
now?
he's sixth. I mean, he's been on the scene an hour. But yeah.
I understand, but
I know. He's ranked sixth in the world. Hasn't won a major. How about Finau? All right. Yeah, think about it. LPGA, for what it's worth, Nelly Corda does it again. This is at Liberty National. You've seen this course before. They've played a bunch of PGA Tour events at it. It's with the Statue of Liberty in the background in Jersey City. She rallied to win her sixth time in her last 7 starts by 1 over Hannah Green. NBA, couple of game 7s. Home court advantage, baby. Didn't mean squat, baby. The Pacers, with a historic performance, shot 80% in the first quarter, 70% in the first half, led by 15 at the half, by 17 after 3, shot 67% for the game. It is literally the best shooting performance in the history of NBA playoff basketball. Pacers beat the Knicks 130-109. Halliburton with 26 points to lead the way. Eastern Conference Finals begin tomorrow night in Boston. Pacers and Celtics. Anunoby tried to come back for the Knicks. He played 5 minutes, then couldn't go. Wouldn't have mattered, but Brunson broke his left shooting hand late third quarter. Obviously didn't return. Yeah, Pacers wore down the Knicks. And the T-Wolves did the same to the defending champion Nuggets. Denver up 15 at the half, up 20 early third quarter at home. And the T-Wolves said, all right, time to go to work. Outscored Denver 60-37 in the second half. Road team won 5 of the 7 games in this series. Minnesota won 3 times in Denver. Karl Anthony Towns, 23 and 12. And Denver was reduced to a 2-man team, Mark. Jamal Murray with 35 and Joker with 34 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists. Think about it. Those 2 guys scored 69 of their 90 points. But the T-Wolves, for just the second time in franchise history, advanced to the conference final, 98-90. They beat Denver, and they'll have home court advantage against Dallas in the Western Conference final, a 3 seed hosting a 5 seed. And in the East, it's 1 against 6. You know, we said, and I know most of you don't like the NBA, you don't pay attention to us when we talk the NBA, but we tried to tell you, this year's wide open, except for Boston. Guess what? This year's wide open, except for Boston.
Despite Jokic's big night, he was, 2 of 10 from outside the arc. Kept chucking him. Got to give him credit for that. I mean, he ended up making 2 of his last 3. I think he was 0 for 7 at one point.
He looked gassed, too. I mean, the T-Wolves are running him. And with Gobert and Cat switching off, they threw the kitchen sink at him.
NHL Conference Finals will be set after tonight. Game 7 between Edmonton and Vancouver. In Vancouver, the winner of that game will face Dallas in the Western Conference Finals. Meanwhile, the East is set. The Panthers back in the conference final. Second year in a row. They dispatched Boston Saturday night in 6. They'll face the Rangers beginning Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden. To baseball. Jays avoided getting swept by the Rays, 5-2 the final. Rays held to 1 hit before the 9th. Mets avoided getting swept by the Marlins. Mets blew a 10-6 lead in the 9th on Saturday. Marlins took 2 out of 3. Mets won yesterday 7-3. Phillies, with their 6th sweep of the year, beat the Nats 11-5. They're 20 games over 500, 34-14. Mark, they just finished the best, I think it was 33-game stretch since the 1800s in franchise history. That's how well the Phillies are playing right now. They are 5 up on the Braves. Now, the Braves are probably chuckling, going, yeah, we won the division the last 2 years. The wild card Phillies beat us in the playoffs. Relax, Moulton. Well, okay. Braves 5 back after losing to the Padres 9-1. They've lost 3 in a row. By the way, Padres-Braves doubleheader today. Get your bets out. Yankees have won 7 in a row. They beat the White Sox 7-2. Gunnar Henderson is 15th homer. He's tied for the Major League lead. Baltimore, 2 back of the Yankees. They beat Seattle 6-3. Red Sox 11-3 over the Cardinals. Rafael Devers has homered in 5 straight games. Guardians swept the Twins, who have lost 6 in a row. 5-2 the final. Will Brennan with a walk-off 3-run shot. KC doubled up Oakland 8-4. Remember when the A's had won 7 in a row? Yeah, now they've lost 8 in a row. KC's only a game and a half back of Cleveland for the division lead. Houston, 9th win in the last 11. They're only 4 back. They beat the Brewers 9-4. Cubs stay 2 back of the Brewers, losing to Pittsburgh 3-2. Mark, our Reds lost again, and they lost another 1-run game. 3-2 to the Dodgers in 10. Ohtani with the walk-off, his second career walk-off. Reds are 1-11 in 1-run games. They've lost 10 in a row. 7 of them in May. Yeah. Arizona beat Detroit 6-4. Tigers back to 500. Giants sweep the Rockies 4-1. Same score, Angels over Texas. Indy 500 qualifying. Penske dominates the front row. Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, Joseph Newgarden. The front row at Indy, that hadn't been done by one team in 36 years. Kyle Larson, by the way, qualifies 5th. Then he gets on a plane, flies to North Wilkesboro to run in the All-Star race. He finishes 4th there. Joey Logano dominated. He led all but 1 lap of the All-Star race. Pretty boring, except for the fight afterwards between Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Kyle Busch, and Ricky Stenhouse Sr. and Kyle Busch. Kyle took a big right hand from Jr., but got in a big left hand on Sr. Check out the fight on social media. Mark, by the way, 14 of the top 16 seeds in college softball advanced to the Super Regionals. 7 of them from the SEC, including Florida and Florida State. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
For those of us of a certain age, he was 00. No, not Robert Parrish. Jim Otto, center for the Raiders. Had Upshaw to his left, Shell to the left of him. Yeah, Hall of Fame center, died over the weekend at the age of 86. Jim Otto. One of 3 guys to play in every single game in AFL history.
Do you have the other 2? Now I'm curious.
Oh man, I had it.
You threw that at me. I'm like, I would think Blanda.
I had it. I didn't write it down.
Is Blanda one of the 2?
Actually, I think Blanda is.
I mean, that would be my guess, and I have no idea where I'd go for the other one.
I think it was. That's on me. That's my fault.
Well, no, I probably probably should have known that you had the answer before I asked the question. Mark Lai coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. We are Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA-certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail
Mark
East.
Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. We're listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
EB Hill, I'm glad that you typed what you typed in the Twitch chat room because it's something that's difficult for Mark and I to handle, but yet we need to be aware of it. Like I said at the beginning of me talking about Jim Otto, what his number was. I even made a reference as to what his number was. But you know, you guys are busy, you're doing things, you're grabbing the coffee, you're getting in the car, you know, you don't always catch everything we say. And it's sometimes as hosts, it's difficult for us to, you know, realize that, understand that.
All right, who gained more popularity over the weekend? Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Bryson DeChambeau.
There you go.
And by the way, EB, no, I would not have known Jim Otto's number. If David said big double zeros, I would have said Robert Parrish.
There you go.
Me too.
Which you also mentioned.
For the record, George Blanda and Gino Capoletti.
Oh, Capoletti.
The other two.
Money.
He owes me money. The other two, along with Jim Otto, who played in every AFL regular season game. No, EB Hill. Exactly. You're doing things. It's the morning. It's something that as hosts, we have to understand. You guys are constantly coming in and out of the show. You catch bits and pieces. It's also why sometimes for those that listen over the long haul, you think, man, those hosts repeat themselves a lot. Well, because the research says those that are listening long term are actually the exception. A few years ago, I went to a seminar in which they said that, how Mark's talked about you have to replace your entire season ticket base every 5 years because you lose 20% a year. And they said that you lose 60% of your audience every commercial break. And so that basically every 12 minutes you have to assume you got to start the show over. And it's why if some of you, especially if you listen to Colin Cowherd, Cowherd does 3 hours. Hour 3 is oftentimes identical to hour 1. So much so that there are those of us that think that they rerun it.
Yeah, I swear sometimes they do. Unless he's that good at repeating his exact cadence. So I picked up on it one time and I tried to like actually see if it's exactly the same. And some of the segments, it sounds exactly the same. Hours 1 and 3.
Kenneth, do you know 3 other people that care about an undisputed heavyweight champion? But yes, a guy that none of us are aware of.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. It was a very entertaining and eventful sports weekend. I mean, seemingly they all are, but sometimes they're not. This one was, though, as we're basically putting round 2 in basketball and hockey to bed. One more game to go. Hockey tonight, a Game 7, Vancouver, Edmonton. A PGA championship came and went. A new champion, number 1 player in the world, arrested. A guy who was a villain now becoming a guy that people are rooting for. Wait a minute. And he plays on that LIV tour? How could this be? I mean, it was an eventful weekend. And has been pointed out, Mark, in our Twitch chat room, we even have an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world in boxing. You remember boxing?
Heard of it.
Used to be a big deal, like horse racing and baseball in the 70s and 80s. Right. Tyson Fury got beat. First time ever. So now, I don't know. So I don't even know the name. ASICS? I don't know. So some guy that beat him. Split decision. All right. They're going to
Fury was not happy about the
No.
decision, said it was given to him because he was Ukrainian, and there were sympathetic judges for him because of where he was from.
Right. It was a close fight, though. I mean, 2 judges had it 114, 113, and then another judge had it 115, 112. So, I mean, obviously it was a close fight. You do that whole CompuStat thing. The guy who got the decision had the ever so slight edge in, power stats and what have you. I think he knocked Fury down in the 9th, too. So, okay. But anyway, so, I mean, even had that happen. At the Indy 500, by the way, best qualifying crowds they've had at that race in a long time. You got one of the young NASCAR stars who qualified in row 2. He's going to do the double, run in Indy, and then go and run in the Coca-Cola 600. Did you see what NASCAR did last night, by the way? And I wonder if they would do this for the Coca-Cola 600. They had their all-star race last night. It doesn't count in the standings at North Wilkesboro. It was supposed to start at 8. Well, the way Indy does their qualifying, Kyle Larson, he didn't even get onto the track till like nearly 6 o'clock. Like the final 6, qualify and we set the first 2 rows and he was amongst them. So anyway, they moved the race back. NASCAR did. They moved their all-star race back to ensure that Kyle Larson was able to get on the plane or the helicopter or whatever and go from Indy
to 2 competing race circuits actually did something cooperatively to make it better for the race fan.
Correct. Now, it's a race that doesn't really count, though.
I understand. I'm just merely pointing out that, they are 2 different factions of racing.
Correct.
They don't typically work together.
Correct.
They saw an opportunity where it would be in their best interest to work together, and they did.
Correct. Well, and it was really NASCAR who bent. Indy didn't change their schedule at all.
Even more important, NASCAR, the more established racing, the bigger circuit of the 2.
Right. What are you implying, Mark?
Well, I just got done watching the PGA Championship.
Huh.
And there's this golfer who everybody used to hate.
Right.
When he played on the PGA Tour.
What's his name?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh.
He had a hell of a tournament. He finished in second place. And I think he's more popular this morning than he's ever been. And he's playing on the rival golf tour. He's playing on the Live Golf Tour. You know, the Blood Money Tour.
Right.
And it looked to me like the golf fan was just saying, we need more of this. We need all of you out here. Our sport is better when everyone is playing.
So you mean what Rory's been talking about, that there's a way to have both leagues and we could play worldwide and everybody could win?
Well, more importantly, the golf fan could win. And that's what really matters, because I don't know how much of the PGA everybody was watching before Scheffler got arrested.
That had to help ratings. Then he goes,
It had to.
And he goes, what, shoot 66 after getting arrested, something like that? Moved up the leaderboard? High-fiving guys who are wearing his mugshot as T-shirts? I mean, come on. I mean, just give him the PGA Tour Player of the Year award right there.
Man, I'm telling you, wherever they have that PGA Tour Halloween party that he's going to be at and everybody comes in orange jumpsuits this year.
We have a mutual friend who just recently moved, but he lived near Scotty Scheffler. In fact, he used to run into Scheffler often at one of the area golf courses. And so much so that he actually invited Scheffler and his wife to their wedding. All right. And could you imagine if you live in Scheffler's neighborhood? Don't you have to show up trick or treat at their house wearing his mugshot?
Yes. Either that or you just wear an orange jumpsuit and show up.
Does he trick or treat with the little ones wearing his mugshot?
Ooh.
Is that going too far, or is that really not taking yourself seriously? And wow, your sense of humor is spectacular.
Can I answer that after how things go Tuesday morning?
You mean, so supposedly all the charges are supposed to be dropped tomorrow?
Right.
Okay. So if all the charges are dropped and on Halloween he's wearing a picture of his mugshot, that's pretty good. That's
pretty solid.
Good. Yep. So, hey, I'm going to bring up a topic, and you're probably going to get really mad at me. But so you got married. What was it? 12 years ago in November, right?
Right.
And you and I are fairly close, right?
Right.
And I didn't go to the wedding.
Shocker.
No.
You were working. You were working.
Right. Now, I wanted to go, and I think you would have liked me and my wife to go.
Yes.
But I think you understood, right?
Totally.
You know, it was Iron Bowl weekend, and I'm kind of counted on.
No, I understood completely. We got
Right.
married Thanksgiving weekend because it was best for family and how we were going to do things, and had a destination wedding in Southwest Florida. So, yes.
Okay. Did anybody have any problems with Scheffler's caddy not being there Saturday at all? Now, the reason he missed it is his daughter was graduating high school. You know, the PGA was set years in advance. High school graduation, it comes out and you go, oh boy, going to have a conflict here. It's round 3 of the PGA. And of course, you're caddying for Scheffler, so you know he's going to make the cut. So, you know, this isn't like caddying for Tiger or Phil. Ooh-ah. Is anybody, I mean, it's your job. It's kind of important. It's one of the 4 biggest tournaments of the year. Never mind. Now, obviously, you're not going to know that my guy's going to get arrested Friday morning. But I didn't have a problem with it. I'm just curious. Did anybody, when they heard, wait a minute, Scheffler's caddy's not there? Did they think, what the heck? Is high school graduation? Oh, yeah, dude, of course. His daughter's graduating high school. Of course he's not going to be there. Or did anybody go, it's not college graduation? I mean,
No, I actually would argue the high school graduation for the parent to be there is far more important than the college graduation.
Okay.
Far more important.
Okay.
Far more. And not even in the same area code to me.
And by the way, I would not have, if it was something like that, I would not show up for Gary or Troy. I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't. I got to admit, though, SEC championship game, which you could argue is kind of like a major championship, a playoff game, I mean, can they do it without me? Yeah, they can. Am I helpful? Yeah, I am. I think I make them a little better. Did I second guess the caddy? No, not at all. I'm just wondering, did anybody else?
I didn't see anybody doing it.
And
I didn't read of anybody doing it.
And then he goes out and shoots 73, which is very un-Scheffler-like. Okay. And so, you look at his other 3 rounds and you're like, wow, he could have been right there.
So, I mean, I don't think the caddy had a choice.
I don't either. I'm just wondering if anybody in this day and age, we second guess everything. I just didn't know if anybody out there thought, oh man, got to understand. Sometimes life gets in the way. I mean, don't know what to tell you. I'd love to be there, but it's a major.
And it's not 1974. If you know what I mean. It's 2024. We are expected as parents to be at these events. This isn't 2 generations ago when I don't know if you were expected to be, or you could have got away with it a lot more.
So, just didn't know if any of you were, even just going, Now, obviously, he caddied rounds 1 and 2 and round 4. It was a day trip.
He's obviously really important. It's the only bad round the man played.
Totally. In fact, is the running joke when he flew back Saturday night or Sunday morning when he showed up and he said, well, based on yesterday, boss, I think I need a raise. Scheffler would look at him and go, you know how much money you've made this year? You're like the 6th highest paid golfer on tour this year. I've made you so much damn money. So that's all. I just wanted to bring it up. I would not have missed my daughter's high school graduation, even if I was caddying for Scottie Scheffler. I just didn't know what people felt about that. If they thought, wait a minute, what's he not there for? What? I don't know. Remember, Phil missed the U.S. Open because of his daughter's high school graduation. He couldn't get to Whistling or wherever it was in Wisconsin. It wasn't Whistling Straits. It was another place, okay, where Koepka won his first major. He couldn't get there in 2017 in time. And it was a course that suited, it's wide open, long. It was a very non-U.S. Open course. People thought Phil would tear it up. But his daughter graduated the night before. And he couldn't get there. Actually, I think it was the morning of.
Does lead to our poll question. Who gained more popularity over the weekend? Scottie Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, or Bryson DeChambeau? Early voting, all Scheffler all the time. Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or Miller_Moulton on X to vote.
I don't think if he had won the PGA Championship, he could have had a better weekend. I really don't. Miller and Moulton. The play of the day is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Mark Lai coming up in 40 minutes time. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Trent Bally in the play of the day coming up in a half a dozen minutes. So, what is it that I say that listeners and viewers like all the time? Follow-ups?
They'd love a follow-up.
All right. Mentioned in the starting five about a half hour ago that Jim Otto died over the weekend. He was 86. Jim Otto was 00, the center on the famed Raiders teams throughout the 60s and into the mid-70s. The left side of the Raiders line was Jim Otto, Gene Upshaw, Art Shell. Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer, Hall of Famer. Had left-handed quarterback Kenny Stabler. What'd they do? They ran left. Everybody knew they were going to run left. They ran left anyway. It was like Lombardi's Packers. They're going to run the power sweep. Everybody knew they're going to run the power sweep. Guess what they did? They ran the power sweep. This just in USC, student body right for 15 years to one great tailback after another. It worked. It's funny, the whole blocking, tackling thing. So Otto, Mark, this is when men were men. Jim Otto was asked, so you played 15 years, never missed a game. What's the hardest hit you ever received? And he goes, Ray Nitschke, 72. Quote, he broke my face mask, which broke my nose and set it over here. And he makes a gesture moving, from one side of the face to the other. Broke my cheekbone and my zygomatic arch bone and detached my retina in my left eye. I was blind for 6 months in my left eye. It was really bad. It all swelled up and I couldn't see. But I kept playing. I never went out of the game.
Yeah, I got nothing to follow that up with, David. There's really not much you can say there when you broke your face and you go back into the game. Couldn't see for 6 months, but finished the season.
Right. Now, he did talk about, I lived to 86, okay? And he by the way, he ended up with over 70 surgeries. He estimated he had 20-plus concussions. And he said, yeah, it's just what you did. You played. That's what it was. But I just wanted to tell the Nitschke story.
I got to pull a Moulton this weekend.
Okay.
Sunday.
Is that a good thing?
It was in this case.
Okay.
It was a simple thing that you say to our listeners quite a bit. We have been doing this for a long time. Everybody always wants to get rid of their quarterback or not pay their quarterback. Right. And we ask the very simple question, well, then who are you going to get to play quarterback?
Thank you.
And I happened to be, there was I did the church thing with the wife, and then there was a church picnic after, David. I was locked and loaded yesterday for about 2 hours being a good husband and father.
Never mind, there was gymnastics on TV early afternoon. I'm sure you were watching that.
We watched it the night before. That was actually a replay last night.
Oh, okay.
Found it on CNBC on Saturday night, David.
What?
Yeah, that's where it was. The core something, I don't know. Simone Biles was competing, David. It was a really big deal.
It always is, Mark.
But I was introduced to this gentleman, and we started talking, and he asked what I did. And I reluctantly told him.
Right.
And he got into talking about Tua, and he doesn't want to pay Tua. He's a big Dolphins fan.
Okay.
We're not going to pay. Well, why should we pay Tua all this money? Goff got paid on. I said, well, Jared Goff just got paid. You see? And now Tua's going to get paid, and Jordan Love's going to get paid.
Trevor Lawrence
going to get paid.
So on.
And who knows what the hell they're going to do in Dallas.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to pay Tua the money. Didn't think Tua was worth $50 million a year, and he might not be.
And
I just simply said to him, then, who are you going to get to play quarterback?
Did you throw in the "I'll hang up and listen" line, or did
no? Because
he
gave me the old. Well, I think they should do it with a lot of bonuses and incentives, and I said, okay, I'm Tua's agent. This guy just got $170 million guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
And that's the way it works in the league. I said, so who are you going to get to play quarterback? And he had nothing. And I didn't do it. I just met the guy, but I just said, who he's going to play.
Was there a chair nearby? Could you have just said that, grabbed the chair and sat in it and folded your arms and legs and said, no, I'll hang up and listen? No?
It was implied.
It was a church picnic. I figured, maybe outside there was, a prop you could have used.
There was a chair nearby. I could have, but I opted not to.
Okay. Could have made the line even better.
But it is fun when you throw that out at someone and say, oh, well, then who's going to play quarterback?
Right. There you go.
That's us hanging up and listening.
And you need to throw out some crazy suggestions too. How about we'll just tag them twice and then we'll go sign Hendon Hooker. Funny sounding names, quarterbacks who haven't done anything, that's what you need to do. Throw it out.
Russ will be available next year.
Yeah. Justin Fields. Daniel Jones. No. Okay. So did that work for you? Was that good?
It worked well. It was fun.
Walk back to your wife with a smile on your face and said, that was fun. Now we got to go. Okay.
I tried that line a couple of times.
We got to go.
I think it's time to go. And it didn't work worth a damn.
Somebody
never does.
No, at church, she's got hand. She knows she ranks higher. She's getting into heaven before you. She knows that. We all know that. Okay. We all know she's in the express line. You're going to have to wait in line. Okay. We know that. And so she plays that card.
Speaking of 10 items or less, it's all Trent can afford when he goes to the grocery store.
That's right.
6-pack of ramen.
Frozen pizza. That's what I've been on lately. It's pretty good.
And a 2-4 of Pabst Blue Ribbon. Trent Bally with our Molly Maid play of the day. What do you have for us today, Trent?
The weekend, unfortunately, for the Denver sports fan was bookended with heartbreaking Denver, but we'll go back to Friday. Stars trying to close out the Avalanche on the road, and they did so in double overtime.
Duchesne on the wall. He'll take it in front. It's available. But loose. They score! It's Matt Duchesne! He wins it in double overtime, and the Dallas Stars are on their way to the Western Conference Final.
Matt Duchesne with the walk-off, and the Stars will advance, as you heard, to the Western Conference Final. When's game one?
Thursday.
Is it really a walk-off or is it a skate-off?
Skate-off. Fair enough. That's a good one. Or like a glide-off or something like that,
Tell you what, the Stars thought they'd won it in the first overtime. Goal was disallowed for goalie interference, which was amazing because the Dallas Star player was never in the crease. Never. At any point in time. Never in the crease. But the goalie moved up to the very front of the crease. The goalie runs into him. Okay, goalie falls down. Goal is scored. They disallow it for goaltender interference. Hockey's got a problem, Mark. Hockey's got the NFL pass interference problem from 8-10 years ago. They don't know what goaltender interference is anymore.
No, it's really arbitrary, and it's not a good look for this league.
No, it's not. And these are big goals, You had the Florida-Boston goaltender interference that wasn't called. Now we got, certain ones that are being called and are not being called. And it's like, oh, you guys better get a handle on this.
Get a handle on your house cleaning by calling Molly Maid at 239-774-5839. See what I did there, David? 774-5839 for Molly Maid.
That's a pro right there. It's a pro transition. By the way, it was our buddy John Forsland on the call. He's so good. He is so good.
And we now have conference finals across the board, except for one last game tonight, Edmonton and Vancouver, to figure out who represents the other Western Conference final. Miller and Moulton. Miller_Moulton on X, MillerMoulton.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Trent, how much is a frozen pizza?
Like $3.
Okay.
And I do eat close to the whole thing.
What do you go with? The
Jack's.
Jack's.
It's good.
Well, let's define good.
It was a staple in college, and then I reverted back to it recently.
Is it good or is it available?
It's available and it's good relative to the other frozen pizzas on the market.
Okay.
How's that? Overall, probably a 6 out of 10.
If it were $6, how would you feel about it?
Probably wouldn't buy it. Good point.
Is it bad that I just Venmoed my kid money for his birthday? Yeah, he got a card. It's not going to get there on time, so I just Venmoed him the money.
No. Do you think he cares?
I don't.
No, I think he's thrilled. Thanks, Dad. Ooh, that sounds good, Kilo's dad.
Seems like bragging to me. Not gonna lie.
It does. Throwing it in our face. Here we are talking about Jack's Frozen Pizza. Latza Matza frozen pizza? Is it $3?
DC, I have had Red Baron, and I agree it's better than Jack's. It's just more expensive. It's better quality. For sure.
Golf Channel's claiming they couldn't come on live.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. We did bring that up. We're like, were they contractually not
That's
allowed?
the Golf Channel, because No Laying Up went after them. Golf Channel responded, said ESPN had exclusive coverage and was scheduled to come on before 8 a.m. Eastern. Golf Channel cannot come on live once.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes until the top of the hour. Mark Lai joins us at the top of the hour. We'll look back at can I say wild and woolly PGA Championship, or is that just too sportscaster cliche? We'll look back at a wild and woolly PGA Championship with Mark Lai at the top of the hour.
Yeah, I think you had the right voice for that.
Baseball. Is that what that was? It was a wild and woolly game 2 of the double dip between the Cubs and Cardinals.
Wild and woolly, huh?
Wild and woolly. Yeah, it's pretty. Come on now. I mean, first-time major champion winner, lowest scores ever in the history of the PGA. Oh, yeah, number 1 player in the world got arrested and finished in the top 10.
And the crowd liked Bryson DeChambeau.
Right. They rooted for the LIV guy over the top 5 player in the world on the PGA Tour. Yes, they did. They did. And they had never really rooted for that LIV guy before when he was on the PGA Tour.
Correct.
Right. So that's why I said it was a wild and woolly one, Mark. Don't know why I just went a little Kentucky accent in there also. So now we're going baseball cliche and Southern accent.
Rockmeyer with a Southern accent all of a sudden.
Right. So we went after the Golf Channel a little bit. We pointed out that they were MIA Friday with Scotty Scheffler getting arrested. And as the story was unfolding, you're watching the 4-letter network. You've got that on in studio. We're trying to monitor the Golf Channel, and they got nothing. And we did throw out there, is it possible that contractually the Golf Channel was not allowed to do any sort of live coverage of what was going on? Did Golf Channel release a statement about this?
They did not, but their PR fought with the No Laying Up podcast X account. No Laying Up puts out a post saying hard to picture anybody but ESPN being able to handle this Scotty situation with the depth that they have today. Remarkable from the jump. I can't argue a word that's said there because they did incredible coverage.
Yeah.
It was right place, right time, a little bit of dumb luck. There were some factors that went in there that Jeff Darlington decided, they decided with Jeff Darlington he was going to cover Scheffler
and
24/7, so to speak.
And Scheffler and his people allowed it. I mean, because there's a little bit of intrusiveness there. I mean, we're literally following you around. That's a reporter. That's a camera person. There's usually 1 or 2 other audio crew, field producer. I mean, 4 people are going to follow you. We're going to follow you for 6 days. You got to get permission from Scheffler and his team for that.
So No Laying Up put out that post. Golf Channel PR responded to the post.
Aha.
Saying important context. ESPN had exclusive coverage and was scheduled to come on before 8 a.m. Eastern. Golf Channel cannot come on live once play is underway. And then it pointed out that No Lane Up is working for ESPN this week as remote broadcasters.
Okay.
The big part is that Golf Channel cannot come on live once play is underway. Okay. Why can't they go to a studio show in Orlando?
Thank you. They
don't have to come on live from the event. They come into the newsroom and report on what happened. I don't know how they cannot do that.
Because obviously they can. Okay, they could have fired up the studio. Now, unfortunately, I think they're now in Connecticut, but they could have fired up the studio. And there's a part of me, I know they don't like to, but really they should. I mean, shouldn't you always have like a couple of people on standby in case there's a big story? I mean, shouldn't you? I know the building is dark until the afternoon, and then people will start coming in because Golf Channel that day was going to run tape stuff up until early afternoon. They were going to run the LPGA Tour live, a fairly big tournament on the LPGA Tour. Okay, we get that. And so the studio stuff wasn't needed until dinner time. Got it. But shouldn't you always have, people on standby, even in case there's a breaking story? I mean, what if 84-year-old Jack Nicklaus dies? I mean, don't you have to get somebody in the building pretty quickly? I'm just saying that I know when I worked in local news, we always had standbys, especially when we knew it was a big, like if we got a storm coming, okay, and I worked in certain markets, I mean, you knew standby here. You guys were this shift, you guys were this shift. Okay. I mean, it's not like the PGA is a surprise on the calendar. I mean, shouldn't you have people that are on standby in case something happens? And you're right, Mark. They could, even if they can't fire up a live shot, they could do a phoner. They can get one of their reporters, right? They got to be on the grounds.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of a cop-out by the Golf Channel. And they weren't prepared for it. To your point, David, there was no one on standby. They weren't prepared for an unexpected thing happening, and you would think that maybe this network will handle it differently. We're not just knocking the Golf Channel here. The NHL had a strike. The NHL network didn't cover the strike.
Right. The Big Ten announced they were shutting down their season. Then, after the SEC said they weren't shutting down their season, all right, the Big Ten resumed playing. The Big Ten didn't cover it. Big Ten didn't cover the pandemic and its effects on the college football season. But get ready, coming up right now, the highlight of the 1983 Nebraska Cornhuskers team. Team that was in the Big Eight at the time. A lot of that going on in college baseball and softball right now, too. We're in this conference for now, but in a month, we're going to be in a different conference.
Can I give you a little wild story? And I only have this because you and I both know someone who loosely is affiliated with this program because of their kid. There is a D3 baseball team, David.
Yep.
That may qualify.
They're in the super regionals.
Right. They're in the super regionals of Division III sports.
Mm-hmm.
The school is about to go, or the school has gone out of business.
They've announced May 31st is their last day.
It's Birmingham Southern.
Correct.
Is the college. They are a D3 school. They are in the super regional for the college baseball World Series at the D3 level.
Mm-hmm.
The school officially closes in 11 days.
Right.
Like the school no longer exists.
Correct. Yes, you need to go elsewhere for the summer and fall.
If they were to win the super regional, they will qualify for the D3 World Series and be playing for a school that no longer exists.
There you go. There's a collector's item. Keeping these jerseys.
Well, keeping them. There's no one to give them back to.
Okay, here's the problem. So let's just say they win the super regional, and we're all going to be rooting for Birmingham Southern in the Division III baseball super regional. So you make it to the World Series. who you sending the expenses to. Pretty much the money the coach goes to the World Series with is like all the money left in the school's history, right? I mean,
I think if they win the Super Regional, the way I understand it, David, and I do have a little inside information, I think they're going to have car washes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, a meat and cheese sale during that time.
I'm just
Actually,
curious.
they won't do that now because they don't. Those type of it drives me. I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm going there anyhow.
Uh-oh, you're not.
There
No.
used to be a time in which you went out and raised money.
Right.
Now you stand in front of Publix with a bucket and say, just give me your money.
Correct.
What happened to washing a car for your baseball travel team? Now they just stand out in front and say, you want to donate money to my team? No.
Yep.
Donate enough money to my own teams.
It's so funny you say that because I go to Publix like 3 times a week. And on Sundays, I always get hit up by a softball team of some kind. And so my thing is, as I'm going in, I say, listen, can you spread the word to the table down by the doors I'm going to come out of? Okay. That I've already given. I don't want to be hit up twice. Okay, sir. Okay. Never spread the word.
They don't spread the word. They don't care.
Spread the word.
They're trying to get you coming and going.
Yeah, I know. I just here's
Did you guys grab some rags, a shop vac, and go do my car really quick? I'll throw you $10.
Here's $5. Okay, not $1. Here's $5. Just make sure that those nice girls down there don't talk to me. Leave me alone. At the convenience store right now, they're doing the Miracle Network stuff. And so I literally, and I'm in this convenience store a lot, I literally made an announcement the other day. I said, okay, you guys see me all the time. I am giving $5. $5. Don't ask me every time I come for the next week. I'm giving you $5 right now.
They really don't remember you.
No. Oh, no, trust me, they do. They do now. Okay. And look, I've been in there twice since. Nobody's hit me up.
21,000's the text line. If you've announced that you're giving more or giving less in the way David Moulton has, I would love to hear the story.
I did. Because you know me, I talk to them. My mother's this way. She talks to the people at the fast food joints, at the bank. Okay. I talk to the people at the convenience store. I talk to the people at the checkout line at Publix. I'm nice to them. I treat that like I'm out of town. You know how I am when I'm out of town.
You're great.
I'm terrific out of town. It's in town where I'm not so terrific. Sometimes it's in studio where I'm not so terrific.
So you made an announcement at the convenience store that you're giving, but you don't want to be asked to give again.
Right. Because I come damn near every day. And, 3 to 5 times a week, easy. And they know me. And I'm like, this is it. I'm $5. I don't need my name up on the thing. I don't care. Here, give the money to the charity. That's great. But don't hit me up anymore.
Good for you.
I asked the one lady as she's going out of town for 2 months. She's going back home. Okay, to visit her mom and dad and grandparents. Okay, I know more. I know about these people's lives. That's how much I talk to them. Just don't ask me for any more money. Here's your $5.
You know their lives?
I do.
You know more about what's going on with them than what's going on with Trent and I.
Well, I mean, they talk to me. Sometimes you don't text me back.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Now, they may be obligated to talk back to me. They probably don't want to. Get in trouble and all if they don't. Can't be rude to the customer, even if the customer is borderline obnoxious.
I can see Trent carrying on a conversation with the
Totally.
convenience store cashier.
Oh, I talk to everybody. Sometimes to a fault. I always say this though. I'm kind of I'm pretty self-aware. Like, if I can tell they don't want to talk, I'll shut it down. But I always at least extend the olive branch.
Moulton talks to everybody, and then he gets on a plane and then won't talk to anybody. Then specifically announces that I'm going to sleep now. Leave me alone.
Yeah, to a point. It's sometimes I'm in the mood. I'll do 1 or 2 conversations with you, and then, okay, that's it. We're here to fly to our next destination. Enough. Please. Okay, I'm never going to see you again. Have a good life. I do. I wish you all.
Guys.
I do wish you the best. I genuinely do. And if I can help you with your luggage, ma'am, I'd be more than happy. I am. Oh, I'm Mr. Luggage guy.
I'm a big helper. I'll help anybody get their bag up, and because
totally,
I want this thing to work efficiently.
Totally, we got to get it.
Help you get that bag up, and you're struggling. I'm there for you.
Totally, in and out. Keep the line moving. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, need help with the luggage? Absolutely. I took this lady's bag off the plane the other day for her. Sure. But let's keep it moving.
But whatever you do to Miller and Moulton, don't go in the express lane with more items than what's on the line.
Absolutely not. Not expected.
Then the gloves are off.
You got that right. I wouldn't even go in the 10 or less lane the other day. I had 11. 11.
I'm taking an item out so I fit the 10. Like, do we really need this?
Won't do it. I'd be a hypocrite. Couldn't live with myself. So I waited 5 minutes in line behind the lady with 261 items.
You did the right thing, David.
Thank you.
There is no doubt you did the right thing. Miller and Moulton asking who had more popularity or got more popularity this weekend from the tournament. Go vote. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did you see another PGA Tour Policy Board member resigned?
No.
Okay, we got Mark, and here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this Monday, the day after the PGA Championship came and went, with Xander Schauffele winning his first major, getting off the schneid, no longer the best player not to have won a major, talking golf and everything that went on over the last 4 days. Mark Lai, longtime PGA Tour player and commentator. Follow him on X, Let It Fly, FLYE, to go with his last name, Let It Fly, FLYE. Mark, it's David and Mark. How you been?
I've been really good. Getting over Friday, what happened to Scotty. I mean, that's just unprecedented in what's happened. It's just crazy. You know, guys, you turn on you're looking forward to day 2, and all of a sudden the news gets hijacked by the Scotty Scheffler situation, and you know, it's kind of like took a little bit of the glimmer off of the game for a while because, as you know, that's like red meat for all the guys in the media tent, because now they can get off of their, you know, they can say, okay, here's my story today. And they don't have to talk about the golf as much. You know as well as I do, that was the big deal, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's as bizarre we're doing a show in the mornings, Mark, and that happened live in front of us. So to see Jeff Darlington standing there saying Scotty Scheffler's been arrested at 6:30 in the morning, I've been doing this a long time, Mark. That's a new one for me.
You know, we've heard about Tiger and, you know, John Daly and, you know, those kind of guys that act a little out of character. Everyone, actually not for Daly. That's right on character for him to get arrested, but I love John. But, hey, you know, golf, I guess, is not exempt, especially Scotty Scheffler. I mean, if you know Scotty Scheffler, I don't know the guy. I've met him briefly, and, you know, he would never remember me, but I would say this is about the last guy I would expect to have any kind of altercation. He and Zach Johnson, I think, would be the guys that would be most likely to not get arrested. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, Mark, so the cause was traffic. And it got us to talking about, you know, there have been a few tournaments over the years, like your very first U.S. Open was at Baltusrol in 1980. Didn't Seve, did he miss his tee time because of the traffic, or he, you know, went running to it or something like that? I mean, there have been major championships before where the traffic has been so bad that guys have missed their tee time.
Well, I think Seve missed it intentionally. You know, it was like he never even showed up at the golf course that day, because I was there and I heard the news and everything. And yeah, I'll tell you what did happen one time relating to traffic. It was at you know, Westchester County or at Wingfoot. I think that's Westchester County, but anyway, Wingfoot. There's only one way in and one way out, right?
Yep.
And apparently the USGA did not pay off the local police there. So instead of making it one way all the way in and one way all the way out at the end of the day, they basically said, "Screw you guys. We're gonna let you know that you need us and we need to be paid." So Tom Watson ended up getting out of his car. This is back when Watson, you know, was really good. I mean, he's still really good, but I mean, this is when he was in his prime, and he and Bruce Edwards got out of the car, left it on the side of the road, and started walking in. The very next day, I guess the payoff was made and traffic was smooth, but nobody missed their tee time like that. And, you know, in Scotty's situation, you got to wonder, can you imagine him in the cell saying, "Hey man, what the hell just happened?" You know, every once in a while, guys, we get an overzealous traffic cop. And look, when a cop pulls me over, man, I am bowing to him. My hand is going into my wallet. I'm getting my, you know, I mean, that's the kind of guy that Scotty is. And for this to happen, I don't know, you know, this guy's claiming, and there's two sides to every story, that Scotty dragged him. Well, the guy was attached to the car on his own doing. I mean, how can you just let a car drag you like that? I don't get it. There must have been a miscommunication. And the fact that there was a death less than an hour before that on that same road, Shelbyville Road, that ramped everything up. And so everyone was on high alert. And I'm sure there was a huge embarrassment going on through the police force, because, you know, obviously the traffic wasn't being controlled properly. So they were kind of on heightened alert. But looking at Scotty, I would have loved to have been in that locker room when he got there. they would have been laughing their butts off. Hey, Scotty, come on, man. You're giving us a bad name.
But the other side of this, Mark, and this is what we were having a little fun with our poll question today, is like, who's more popular after this tournament, DeChambeau, Schauffele, or Scheffler? Because Scotty Scheffler was the best golfer in the world. He wasn't the most popular golfer in the world. He was a little vanilla. This seems to have endeared him more to the crowd. They ate this up and were cheering him on like never before.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, we can all relate to, getting stopped by cops. It's a fearful type of thing. And thank God they didn't tase him. What else is new? He's going to shoot him in the leg. I mean, I just don't know. I'm not surprised anymore about anything with all the stuff that's been going on in our world. I figured that golf would be safe and exempt from this kind of thing, but no, it's just that way. And look, I've heard, I read, I didn't just hear, I read that the guy was not used to being on events. And, every once in a while you get a couple of guys that run the line, but there's so many checkpoints there. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 times you have to show your badge and all of that stuff. So if I were the cop, and I'm not, thank God I'm not a cop, I'd be dead. They would, let him go, and the next checkpoint would get the guy. But the courtesy car, that's the first sign that the guy's okay. Second thing is the hang tag in the windshield. That's always displayed, and they're iridescent so you can see them in the dark. Now, look, it was raining. It was confusing. It's every time that you have an event in a city, even though they've had large events there at Valhalla before, the crew turns over. There's some guys there that have never been there before on the police force and security and all that stuff. It's a whole new group that comes in every 4, 5, 6 years. So every time is a first run.
And reportedly tomorrow, there are reports, Mark, that tomorrow all charges are going to be dismissed. We'll see if, in fact, that happens. We've got about 5 minutes left with Mark Lai, who you can follow on X at Let It Fly, FLYE. Let's talk Valhalla. Okay. Are they now damaged beyond repair? That's it? They're never going to host a Ryder Cup or a major championship again? Because it's not only what happened Friday morning, Mark, it's the fact that this was the easiest course in PGA Championship history by 254 strokes.
Wow. Well, Mother Nature, guys. I mean, it just happens. Look, I thought the place was brutally tough. And John Rahm, you take one club out of the bag, and that's the driver. Rahm couldn't hit a fairway. So you got to give credit to a guy like Xander. I mean, the best player won. The best player was not Bryson DeChambeau. Although, man, he gave it a hell of an effort, didn't he? He didn't have his best stuff, but somehow was there at the end. Look, I can't really beat up on a golf course like that, because when you get that much rain, number one, the fairways play wider and the greens play soft. You just cannot. It's a perfect recipe for record breaking. And I've played that golf course before. It is brutally long. I mean, did you see the measurements on the par fours?
Oh yeah,
508, 520. I mean, it's nuts. So I give credit. I think they did take the short hitter out of it last week, especially because the fairways were playing wider, but the ball was not rolling. So if you're not in the top, 50% of the guys that can hit it, like I've already mentioned Zach Johnson. I mean, he's got to be saying, holy mackerel. I don't even know if he played, but the shorter hitters like Odegi, he's like really short. They had no shot, absolutely no shot. And the Bombers, it was a Bombers golf course. So, look, yeah, it did play very easy. It doesn't normally play that easy, guys, but it did this time because of the rain and the condition of the golf course.
Mark, talk about what Xander Schauffele did, because he bogeys 10 to come back and birdie 11 and 12. But, the up and down on 17 for a guy who's never won a major and hadn't won in a while. Just how tough do you think that was for him to get it into the barn, so to speak? Because that was not easy with what DeChambeau was doing. And after bogeying 10, I think a lot of us thought, well, here he goes again. He's gonna give this one away as well. I thought 11 and 12 was unbelievably impressive, but that up and down on 17, that was legendary stuff right there.
Well, these guys are so good around the greens, Mark, and golly, Scotty Scheffler, who's got the power and he's got the grace around the greens. I mean, you have to have your chipping game in order to win a major championship. When Bryson DeChambeau, we don't know him for his chipping, but when he won the U.S. Open at Winged Foot, I mean, it was all about the short game. It wasn't about the 390-yard tee shots. So when I think Xander, I won my only event after choking the week before. Okay. I had a chance to win a tournament at the BC Open and I missed it. And then on my way to the next tournament, which was at Pleasant Valley, just outside of Worcester, I said, if I get myself in this position again, I'm not going to do it. Sure enough, I won the next week. And I'm sure that the hangover that he had from not closing out at Wells Fargo really helped him. So when he made that birdie mark on 11, I said, there it is. That's it. I mean, that was the bounce back of all bounce backs, because, he stayed aggressive out of that bunker on number 10. He should have just laid that sucker up. But, man, he was playing so well. Why lay up at this point? He's gotten in the lead from not laying up, and it cost him there. But 11 and 12, you're right. That was the turn of things to come for him at the end.
We'll talk more golf with Mark Lai coming up before the U.S. Open. Be interesting to see what, if anything, happens big picture in the sport in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Mark, all the best with you and your family. Hope your daughter's still striping it, and we'll talk again soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great week.
Mark Lai, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
How much more we got to lose? This is for either one of you guys. And usually in NBA history, it says you have to lose and lose big before you win. What is it about this team that says we lost last year? Yeah, but that's different. You have to lose at a bigger stage. Usually, teams. It's the playoffs. We lost last year. We lost the last 2 years. Shit. God damn. How much more we got to lose? How much more us to lose?
Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
That's just the truth, dog. God damn. What makes this is for you?
Tell you what, that's an easy team to root for. They've never won. Only once before they even got into the conference finals. Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, you start getting into a story. He lost both his parents in COVID? I mean, the family members he lost during COVID. I mean, adversity he's to overcome personally. I mean, they're really easy to root for. Young and fun, play hard. The hockey world's now rooting for the Stars, you know. They, I think, have 4 of the 5 current players who have played the most games without winning the cup. The Stars have 4 of them. Plus, Peter DeBoer hasn't won it, and he's been to like 5 conference finals. He's taken 3 teams in the West to the conference finals in like the last 6 years. Took the Devils to the finals in 2012. Yeah, Krober, it's tough for me to hold it against a guy who basically took few hundred million dollars out of his account and invested it in owning the Minnesota Timberwolves. Plus, you know, he hasn't played baseball in 10 years.
Well, I'd love to see David's Rangers win for David. I'd like to see Paul Maurice win. The longer he sticks around, the better it is for hockey.
No doubt. His pressers are great.
Yeah, DC, you're right.
I thought they were spotted together over the weekend.
Who?
J-Lo and Affleck.
Oh, I thought they spotted him without his wedding ring. That was a story I saw.
I thought they were spotted together over the weekend with their rings on.
All I'd seen is they're getting divorced over the weekend.
I love her, but man, she goes through men quickly.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A couple of road teams winning game 7s. And you have to admit, well, people who now believe that the NBA and the NHL is fixed, okay, could they just take a step back and observe what has taken place in the last couple days? I mean, if the NBA had a choice between the defending champion Nuggets with the game's best player right now in Jokic advancing, or the Minnesota Timberwolves, who would they choose, Mark?
David, they would choose the defending champs every single time. We were just starting to get to know them. We may have liked them a little bit.
Right. People are starting to appreciate Joker. Okay. Not to say he and they are done, but you never know how big or small a team's window is. Okay. Let's go to hockey. If the NHL could choose who would play the Rangers in the East, would they choose Boston or would they choose the Florida Panthers?
They would choose Boston every single time. Every time. It is the best market in our single market for hockey. There's no better market than Boston.
In fact, they would choose the Bruins over the Rangers. They would. Take a look at the ratings. The Bruins bring more eyeballs to the screen than the Rangers. It's close, but they do. And so the most controversial, and there were two very controversial calls and non-calls in the Florida-Boston hockey series. One involved a tying goal in the third period of Game 4 when the series was 2-1 Florida, Boston clinging to a 1-goal lead. And what most of us felt was an illegal play by a Florida forward, cross-checking a Bruins defenseman into the Bruins goalie and then picking up the puck and putting it into the empty net. Okay. And the goal was allowed. And then the game before that, a Florida player cheap shotted a Bruins player. Now, it's a Bruins player that a lot of people don't like and actually applauded when he got cheap shotted. Okay. And they were glad that he missed the next 2 games due to injury. But the officials missed it on the ice, and the league...
Which I'm not going to at all give them any grief for missing it on the ice. You had to see the damn thing 4 times before you had a clue that he threw a right cross as he was making contact with Marchant there. I mean,
Agreed. It was a hell of a play. He knew exactly what he was doing. It was in tight. Okay. But 24 hours later, there's a reverse angle of it in which the league can see it. The league had plenty of time, if they wanted to suspend one of Florida's best players, by the way, if they wanted to, for Game 4 or 5. And the league went, nothing to see here. So the 2 biggest calls, non-calls in that series both went the Florida Panthers' way. The Rangers and the Bruins, ratings gold for the league that struggles more than all the others. Remember, Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut drew more viewers than a Boston Bruins playoff game. And her debut was on ESPN2. And the playoff game was on ESPN. And Rangers Bruins would have been ratings gold.
About as good as that sport could deliver. Truthfully. I don't know if they would get a series that would do better numbers, outside of a cup final than a Ranger Bruins conference final, David.
So, listen, you want to question how hard guys play in one sport? You want to question the competence level of the officiating in sports? Be my guest. The leagues are not fixed. Believe me, the leagues are not fixed. Because there aren't a lot of outcomes that have happened right now that the leagues would be happy with.
Right. And you didn't even get into Pacers Knicks.
Right.
Of which, who did the league want representing the Eastern Conference to take on the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals? The Pacers or the Knicks? Okay.
So the leagues are not fixed. They're not. Nice little spring in Dallas, huh?
Boy, is it ever.
Stars and Mavs, second time in 3 years. Mavs are in the conference final, second straight year. And third time in 4 years? The Stars, because the Stars lost to the Lightning in the pandemic. So, I mean, the Stars have had deep runs here damn near every year this decade. Mavs, second time in 3 years, are in the conference final. By the way, gut feeling. Minnesota, Dallas, who do you like? Gut feeling. Not who you're rooting for. If you had to pick a winner right now, my $20, where are you going?
Dallas.
They got to be thrilled not to get Joker, right?
I think Luka's been playing really great ball. I mean, he's a little banged up. I think these days off are helping him immensely. But I think it'd be interesting to see, which big two can control this series.
T-Wolves just won a Game 7 on the road, and Anthony Edwards was lousy. Shot, 25%? Something like that? Like 6 of 24, 8 of 24, something. I mean, he was not good.
Well, they showed – I thought that Denver in the latter part of the series showed how to defend him a lot better. They were running two on him a lot. They'd start single guard him. They'd start running someone over, and he struggled with the double teams and wasn't – they were able to work him late into the clock and then put him in a bad spot.
So I don't know how many of you, I'm guessing very few, saw the post game last night of Denver and the Timberwolves. So it's Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns that are sitting next to one another on the podium. And Mark, did you see the question and answer from the one reporter?
I did.
So the one reporter is trying to go down the road of, can I go fake bad voice here? Guys. Okay, normally teams got to, lose before they win. And, you guys have, and before he could go any further, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards start going, how much more losing do you want us to do? We have one squat.
Hey, we lost last year. We haven't won in 20 years. What do you want out of us?
And the guy says, well, I mean the playoffs. And Towns goes, they beat us in the playoffs last year. Okay, and Edwards goes, we sucked the year before that. How much losing do you want us to do? Do you think people will pay attention to this series? All right, you got Luka and Kyrie with Jason Kidd coaching them. All right, and then you got the T-Wolves are fun. Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns are fun.
David, I think the ratings will be significantly down in the West from what they were a year ago. Probably. The T-Wolves aren't going to – fun doesn't – it should sell, David. But the problem is that the league spends so much time talking Lakers every damn day that if anybody's in there that's not the Lakers, it's new to any non-NBA fan. And for the number to grow, you need the non-NBA fan to join in. And I don't think they've been given that opportunity to do so.
Last year's Western Final, too, was Denver, the Lakers. So, yeah, I mean, the ratings comparison will likely be
way down.
Yeah.
Double-digit down.
Right. Clay Travis is going to love these Western Conference NBA
Absolutely.
Yeah,
this will feed right into the narrative.
Right. So, anyway. So, a couple of Game 7s, and the road teams won. T-Wolves came from 20 down, which is like the biggest deficit overcome in a Game 7 in this century. And the Pacers with a historic offensive performance, shooting 67% for the game. Literally the best shooting performance in the history of the NBA playoffs. Hockey's Final Four is almost set as well. Miller and Moulton. Hey, thanks for being with us. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
If you're in love and thinking about a diamond, you'll want to hear from my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When purchasing a diamond, you deserve a relaxed, stress-free, and educational experience. You want to have a good time and feel comfortable. You want selection, quality, and value.
At the Diamond District, you'll get it all. With our team of non-commissioned diamond advisors, no one's in a rush. We care only about you and making sure your needs and wishes are fulfilled.
You'll be wowed by our selection of GIA certified diamonds, stunning diamond bracelets, earrings, pre-owned Rolex watches, exotic ruby, sapphire, emerald, and tanzanite jewelry. There's something for everyone at the Diamond District, and all at the lowest prices anywhere.
Jason and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Next question, man. The season's over. That's what's hard. Fuck being up money. The season's over. You don't understand that. The season's over. It's hard. Stupid ass questions. Trent, you all right over there?
Just tired. Very tired.
What are you tired from?
Well, I just didn't staying up late.
Game ends, you go to bed.
Yeah, I know. I'm also not doing any caffeine. I'm cutting it out.
Why?
It's not good for you.
Says who?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So what do you pay Tua? What's fair?
Well, what does fair have to do with it? And I'm not.
Well, no, I mean, what's relative to NFL quarterbacks?
Well, if you're the Dolphins, I think you could say, listen, Jared Goff's been better than you longer. From what I heard, it's that the Dolphins are trying to have Tua could earn even more money than Goff, but he just has to stay healthy. So they want there to be incentives in it. And the Tua and his people are like, no, man, just pay me the money. That's how it works. Well, but can of relief, Cousins is 45. Tua ain't going to accept. I mean, I don't think Tua is going to accept less than 50. Damaged goods. Adam, he started every game last year. What are you talking about? I mean, you just don't like Tua, but he ain't damaged goods. I mean, Adam, quite frankly, right now, Tua or Trevor Lawrence, who's been a better quarterback in the NFL? Not who do you think will be better, not who you would want in the future, but so far in their careers, Tua or Trevor Lawrence? And even Adam goes Tua.
Did you see Malone's response to the question about losing? Went off on the reporter.
Yeah.
Well, losing by 20. He's like, who cares? The season's over. Or blowing a 20-point lead, right? Dumbass question.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Then it's the Diamond District bonus hour for the 904 and the 239. We thank you for watching on Twitch and listening to Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Having a little fun or trying to with our PGA Championship poll question. I mean, we all know what happened. Schauffele won. DeChambeau was second. Scotty Scheffler was arrested and finished T8. Yet we're asking, who won the weekend? Scheffler, DeChambeau, or Schauffele?
And let's be really honest, I'll never ask another golf poll question again because 4 of you voted on it. I've never seen a vote this small on anything we've ever done in the history of this show. So tomorrow's question is going to be Tua or Trevor. Which one do you want on your team?
Oh, wow. Look at you. So apparently Tua's already turned the Dolphins down once. They threw an offer at him. Apparently there was incentives, and then his people went, no, man, we're past that. We played every game last year. Don't want to hear it. Put up pretty good numbers, by the way. Won 11 games as a team. Stop it. Enough. Is he the guy? Yes or no? If he's the guy, then this is the going rate. And you can't blame Tua and his people for doing it, right, Mark?
Not one bit. And our lovely question asked by the head of the Cincinnati Reds, Miami, where are you going to go?
Right.
Where are you going to go? You gonna try to wait the year out and hope that Dak doesn't sign with Dallas and you can sign Dak? What's that going to cost you?
Well, but the other thing is the Dolphins can play the tag game. I mean, that's the other thing. They don't want to, obviously. It doesn't give you the financial flexibility. But the Dolphins can play the tag game.
Right, but that is, in Pat Kerwin's words, a divorce.
Maybe.
When has it not been?
Well,
in recent times, David, because before the tag was used and they were able to sign guys long-term, I get it. In the last 5 to 7 years, find me a time when they put tag on a guy and that guy didn't leave after that.
Well, I do think the second tag is divorce. Like the Giants tagged Saquon 2 years ago. You and I thought it was a mistake. Okay, the Giants then refused to put the second tag on him this year. Could have refused to do it. But to me, it would have led to divorce. And ultimately, it ended in divorce. One tag was enough. If I'm the Dolphins, if for whatever reason, I do not want to give him a Jared Goff-like contract, whether it's exactly 53 a year or whether it's between 50 and 53, whatever. I don't want to go there. I don't want to guarantee 150, 60, 70 million with him. I still have injury concerns. If that's where the Dolphins are coming from, well, then they could just let the sucker play out. Because if he has another healthy year, Mark, and he has another good year, and you have to say Tua had a good year last year. I mean, that's a fair assessment, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Some people think he had a very good to great year. But at the very least, even if you want to hold it against them, they didn't beat a lot of good teams. Ironically, the only one with a winning record they beat, I think, they beat Dak and Dallas, but boom. But, still, come on. Was Tua a top 10 quarterback in the league last year, yes or no?
I think so.
I think he was also.
4,600 yards, 29 TDs, 14 interceptions.
So, but if they want, Mark, if he does that again and they win 11 or more games, I mean, they're going to pay him. Even if they have to tag him first to keep him, they're eventually going to sit down and say, you won. We played poker with you and you won. Pay the man his money. And they do it. So, Mark, if we're the Dolphins, and if I'm the guy in the back of the room, and for the record, I'm not, by the way, we're both Tua guys, we're all in. You and I would do what? 4 for 210? 4 for 208? Guarantee $160 of it?
Yes.
Okay. So there you go. So that's where Miller
if he demanded Goff money, I would be able to come close. I'd look him dead in the eye and say, you have not done anything in the playoffs to warrant the money he's getting. I'm sorry.
Right. But I'll give you just below it. Can't give you more. Besides, you're in Florida, no state tax. Trust me.
I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to get into the whole tax thing because it's, to me, an irrelevant conversation. I'm going to get him facts. You need to win more playoff games to get more money than that guy. This is really simple.
And if Miller and Moulton gave the contract, that means Tua would be their quarterback on guaranteed money for the next 4 seasons. This year, the final year of his rookie deal, and then 25, 26, 27 would essentially be fully guaranteed. And we'd be willing to do that. But then again, Miller and Moulton had been around for the 20 years before Tua trying to replace Marino. And it was laughable. I mean, it was. Dolphin fan doesn't want to admit this, but Ryan Tannehill is one of the 5 best quarterbacks in Dolphins history. He is. That's just a fact. There's Marino, there's Greasy. You want to argue even Earl Morrall, fine. Then you can go Tua and Tannehill, okay? He's a top 5 quarterback in Dolphins history. That's how tough it's been post-Marino. So we'd pay the man his money. But if by chance the Dolphins are like, man, it's only one healthy year. I just, I'm not quite going to go there yet. I think they could say, okay, let's play the game. And you could win. You could win. At which point we'll end up having to pay you more than Goff.
A lot more, by the way. Every minute, every season you wait, it's going up by $5 to $7 million a year.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you think what type of year would he? And I understand the whole if you sign your contract later, you end up getting more. But it will be a tough negotiation for Tua and his people to look at the Dolphins and say he should make more than Burrow. And Burrow's a double nickel. I think that's a tough one. If he duplicates last year this year, and the Dolphins don't get him signed by July 15th, and they got to pay him. Don't you think that's a tough one?
It is, but by that point, Love will have signed, Trevor will have signed, Dak will possibly be signing. You can't keep using other deals as the basis. You have to use the last deal as your basis.
I understand. First off, I'm counting on Trevor not getting 55. Jordan Love is not going to get 55. No way. No way. In fact, I think Jordan Love gets the least amount of money of all these.
Agreed.
All right. And I actually don't think Dak and Dallas are going to come to a deal. I think Dak and his people have no problem playing hardball. They've done it twice now with Jera. And they know at the end, Jera pays. So I think they'll play the game. I do. But I still think it'll be tough to go. That's why also, right now Mahomes is at 46 and change. Josh Allen's at 43. We know both those contracts are going to get fixed here. They're both going to end up with a rate that's Burrow or higher. Mahomes is probably going to be 60. Mahomes, I think, will be the first $60 million player.
And a couple of Dolph fans in the Twitch chat room saying, make him earn it. And I understand that if you had someone else. Where is it you go? You franchise him. He has a good year and says, bye-bye, Miami.
Well, he's under contract this year. You can franchise him after this year. He may not be happy about it, but, I mean, you could, in theory, Mark, just have him for this year and 2 more. You could just go tag.
And you'd be paying $110 million for that by that point.
You would. Yeah, absolutely you would. At least $105 million, yes. It would be at least the golf deal twice. At least. And
to have an unhappy quarterback.
I don't know how unhappy you could be at 55.
Unhappy. They don't like the franchise tag, David. They don't.
But they're playing for their next deal. They're just playing for it elsewhere. And I don't know how unhappy's. I don't know. There's a part of me that is like, hey, put your big boy pants on, suck it up. This is business.
I understand, but that's not an accurate statement of what the 20-something athletes acting like when they've not been given the contract they've wanted. That's a real world statement. It's an accurate statement, but that's not how the coddled athlete feels.
Fin fan in our Twitch chat room wonders, so who would pay Tua 50 plus if not the Dolphins? Huh? All right. By the way, Dak, they can't tag because of the way they've restructured his contract multiple times. The Cowboys cannot tag Dak. If they don't get Dak signed long-term by July 15th, Dak is unrestricted mid-March of next year. Let's assume Tua has the type of year that he had last year, again this year. Even if they don't have the type of playoff success that you would like, Tua's on the market. We played this game last week for a few minutes. Let's go through the teams right now that are unsettled at best at quarterback. Tua would still be in his 20s. Dak would be what, 30/31? Come on now. You can sign these guys 4 or 5 years. That's their prime.
2 years from now, where are the Jets going to be at quarterback? Because you're 1 more year in a tag year. You're not, so you don't know where the Jets are going to be. We don't know how any of these rookie quarterbacks will hold out over the last 2 years. There will be jobs available for a quarterback, particularly if this guy has the same year. And we are going through this, that he has a similar year to what he had this year.
The Giants situation, Daniel Jones is essentially in the final year of his deal, even though it's year 2 of 4. The final 2 years are not guaranteed. We can go right on down the list. Pittsburgh, both their quarterbacks are on 1-year deals. Never mind the handful of teams out there. You sure the Raiders wouldn't grab up Dak or Tua? I mean, if let's just say the quarterback play they get this year is similar to the quarterback play they got last year, they're that married to Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew.
Seattle.
Yeah. What if you get Geno 2023, not Geno 2022? You sure they wouldn't Dak or Tua? So remember, only takes one. Only takes one team.
Dallas could be in the fold by then if Dak doesn't get paid and walks.
Be honest with you. When do the Rams move away from Stafford? How many more years does Stafford have on his deal with guaranteed money? I think it's just this year. I think the Rams can move off Stafford after this year. In fact, thought the story was a couple months ago, he asked the Rams for an extension. And the Rams said, we're good. So, I mean, if you want to play that game, I'm waiting. I can't wait. I would love for somebody in the NFL to play hardball with a quarterback. I would love it. I'm begging for it.
You took the words out of my mouth, David. You have been literally for a year and a half, maybe longer, begging for a team to take a hardball approach with a quarterback because they don't. And that's the point I always come back to you with, is that you're on an island as this GM. I love the island you're on.
I mean, what if after this year the Colts go, I think we made a mistake with Anthony Richardson, and Flacco's about to turn 40. I'm sorry, who's available in free agency again?
Yeah, we're sure Will Levis is the answer in Tennessee, by the way.
So I understand what you're saying. Make them prove it, okay. All right. Miller and Moulton. We'll make it our poll question tomorrow. I'd love it. I absolutely love it.
In fact, we may go quarterback questions the rest of the week just to keep everybody happy. Enough of this golf. We'll give you quarterback question after quarterback question. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks for listening. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, DC, here's what I'll tell you is Steve Spagnuolo after the Super Bowl said, yeah, we had to change up our entire game plan because we were going to play a lot of zone against them, and he was tearing us up. And so we had to switch and get aggressive and go man because he's just too accurate and too good, and he always makes the right read. Spagnuolo is probably one of the best defensive coordinators out there, and he said that basically he talked about Brock Purdy like he's clearly a top quarterback in the league. So
That's an interesting question, Irish football. Who gets paid more, Lawrence or Tua? Probably Lawrence. David, can you talk for a second or say something? There we go.
What?
You were completely gone.
Okay.
Whatever was going on, that's like I couldn't even hear you chewing. And if I can't hear you chewing, what's a commercial break?
I understand.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Thanks for being with us. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller and Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. Miss any part of the show, like our interview with Mark Lai last hour, go to MillerandMoulton.com and download what it is you missed. David Sampson, Pat Kerwin, amongst those scheduled to join us on the show tomorrow. Kicking it around the day after the PGA Championship with a first-time major champion. Oh, yeah, Scotty Scheffler arrested. The crowd pulling for the LIV golfer over the top 5 American Tour player. It certainly seemed that way. And then a couple of game 7s in the NBA with the road team winning them both. One coming from 20 down in the third quarter. Think about it. Vegas, defending champs in hockey, out. Nuggets, defending champs in hoops, out. Don't you think NFL teams are like, man, think we'll ever do that to the Chiefs? Think any of us are ever going to beat them again?
Right, and that stacked AFC that we talked about, how difficult it is, how hard it's going to be to get through that conference, let alone you make the playoffs, let alone get through the conference. And
right. Hey, they had to go on the road, but 2 road playoff games had to win. They'd never played one before under Mahomes. How'd that work out? I will say they're having a hell of an offseason. They really are. Man, they got guys getting arrested like crazy. They got 2 more arrested over the weekend. Got the number 1 wide receiver facing some serious allegations and charges. Never mind the whole kicker controversy. Whatever. They're not getting rid of him. So just,
the owner's wife and daughter have backed the kicker.
Totally.
I don't know what else we need to see here.
Right. Never mind the fact that can't you just disagree with somebody anymore?
No.
Can't you just go, hell of a kicker? Don't agree with what he believes in, but who cares? He's a kicker. So maybe one day we'll get back to that point.
When have we seen a transformation? Just quickly on DeChambeau.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall a popularity change, the likes that we've seen with DeChambeau here?
Now, are we sticking with golf?
No, I'm just in the recent ones where you can say, this guy was universally hated.
Mm-hmm.
They were calling him Brooksy. He was being made fun of on a regular basis.
Right.
And taunted.
First, he was the nerd because he was the guy who built all his clubs to be the same size. He was going to play golf differently. Then he went and became the workout fiend. He got bigger than everybody else. He swings harder, hits it further, the whole deal, and wins the U.S. Open doing it that way. Thank you very much. And then he joins LIV. So, of course, we know what happens to you as a golfer if you join LIV. He's playing pretty well, though. By the way, any of you remember the interview we did last week with Whit Watson? Who'd he pick?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I got made fun of, by the way, from people going, really? You picked Schauffele to win like the last 6 majors. I'm like, yeah, the reason he won is because they didn't pick him. But so once again, mush, molten mush. I was all over it.
Oh, no, that's not even the half of it. Because sure, we get into the horse racing. And Caitlin Free, who calls the Derby. I mean, not only does she break down the race, but hits 1, 2, and 3 for the Derby.
Totally. And said exactly how all 3 horses were going to run it to do it. Right.
Now, she did have Mystic Dan in the money.
She did. In fact, she was basically saying, I think Mystic Dan's going to finish second.
And yeah. She just had the wrong horse winning.
Right.
Seize the Gray ended up winning. She was all over Tuscan Gold.
Right. My horse did finish third. Finally, my horses finished 4th and 3rd. So I'll just keep putting money on that horse until he wins. It'll probably be the Breeders' Cup before he wins, but okay. But you're asking about just an athlete in which he was the bad guy, and a handful of years later, people started cheering for him. I mean, I'm going to date myself here. For the longest time in the late 70s, Mark, we still had that Cold War thing going on. We weren't exactly nice to the athletes who were coming from the quote Eastern Bloc, unquote. American crowds were pretty rough on Martina Navratilova. She was challenging America's sweetheart, Chris Evert. And whenever she would play Chrissy or even Tracy Austin, who for a couple of years there was overtaking Chris Evert right around the 70s, heading into the 80s. And she was another, blonde, pigtailed American teenager. And we were rooting for her, and we rooted against Martina.
No, you're right. That's for sure.
And there was a U.S. Open final when Martina lost in 3 sets, and she lost the second and third sets in tiebreakers. And she basically choked. She was the better player, and she choked. And she sobbed. She absolutely sobbed on court. And the crowd at that moment, all right, that tennis crowd decided, okay, all the Martina crap stops right now.
She's human. We don't hate her anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so she came from Czechoslovakia. All right. Really? We could have been born there too. Enough. And it stopped right then. That's it. It stopped. I mean, it happened, we joke about it. It happened with McEnroe. I mean, the fact that McEnroe does BBC of the Wimbledon's hysterical. I mean, he wins the tournament and they make an exception. We will not invite you and give you the honorary membership into the All England Lawn and Tennis Club. That's how big of a blankety blank you are. And 10 years later, they're cheering for him as he's making 2 runs to the semis late in his career, and the BBC's hiring him at the first date.
No, those are both great comparisons, and they're both a long time ago.
They are. And so I'm kind of working my way through here mentally, I
mean, LeBron certainly got the black hat put on him when he made the decision. He had to work through that. That first year in Miami, he was not liked.
I actually think LeBron had worked the black hat into a white hat again, and then a lot of people turned on him when he and they got political. Like, I think when he went back to Cleveland and delivered the title for Cleveland, that there were a lot of people that said, I was kind of honked off when he took his talents to South Beach, but I got to give it up to him. And he cried. I mean, he sobbed basically on the. Bill Russell was consoling him. He was so emotional. And at that moment, I think a lot of people said, oh, okay, all right, I got to give up the grudge against LeBron. I've held
but
it.
They've got it back now.
Oh yeah, and then now it's like I always hated him. I did. So,
but it was a transformation that seemed to happen over the course of the round yesterday.
Yeah. And I think it's all, we like personality. We like emotion.
And he has figured out a way to display his and continue to be able to play good golf and not let it get in the way. Most of these guys are very robotic out there.
I'm trying to think basketball, who was the villain, who did we, I mean, Bird was never the villain, Magic was never the villain, Michael was never the villain. I'm trying to think of somebody who was the heel. We're like going wrestling here.
I know this is Hulkster painting the beard black and going with NWO, David. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but that's in reverse. Okay.
Right.
What you're talking about is that he starts off as NWO and becomes WWE champion and universally loved. I mean, DC nominates Dennis Rodman. I don't know if was Rodman hated.
No.
Though. Remember with Detroit, he came off the bench half the time.
But he wasn't hated there. Of the bad boy Pistons, it was Lambeer that was hated.
Yeah, and or Isaiah. Some people never liked Isaiah. But yeah, it was Lambeer, Mahorn, James Edwards. Those were the guys. So, uh, but it will be interesting going forward. Now, then again, since he's on LIV, the only time we're going to see him is in major championships.
And I think that was part of it. To me, it was more than just DeChambeau. To me, it was the golf fan going, we've got everybody here now. This is what we're supposed to see weekly, not quarterly or not 4 times a year, essentially.
Right.
That as a golf fan, we want all of you out here, and he's one of all of you.
Ryan in our Twitch chat room said Ray Lewis. Remember, it's pretty early in Ray's career. And I was drafted in 96 with the Ravens. And even though he was a terrific player in the late 90s, the Ravens might as well have been a witness protection. And then the breakout year was 2000. They win the Super Bowl. And the year before that, the Super Bowl was in Atlanta, and that's when what happened.
So along those lines, could you say Michael Vick? If you count
yes,
his broadcasting career?
Absolutely. Yes. Let me tell you, Trent, 18 years of doing Miller and Moulton, I do not think there is a single person / issue that we have ever had to talk about more than once that has drawn the emotion, the vile, the vitriol that we got having to talk about Vic and the dogs. I mean, we got stuff in which, Mark and I don't blush easily. We're adults and we're not naive in most cases. I was about Manny Ramirez and steroids. That's all. And Lance Armstrong and, cheating at the Tour de France. We all have our weaknesses. But there were times where we would get stuff, emails and texts and a couple of calls, and Mark and I looked at one another like, damn. Trent, that's a really good one. Yeah. Go from the heel to getting applauded for.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774
It's the playoffs. We lost last year. We lost the last 2 years. God damn. How much more we got to lose? How much you want us to lose? Let's lose it for 20 years. I mean, that's just the truth, dog. God damn. This is the one, you guys.
I'm sorry. Funny is funny. Sonny, I don't know how a big-time program can hire Dion until he proves he can win at that level. And I love Dion, but I got to, he wants to do things his way. And okay, I got to see that it works.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. Some final thoughts. A pick or two. A boost, a sprinkle. It's all coming up. We got a doubleheader today, okay? So we're placing at least one bet today.
All right.
All right. Just saying. I know we've been a little lax lately.
It's because the account's empty.
I was going to say, is the account dry or are we still?
We've got, this is like.
Yeah, I know. It's hooked up to my bank account, though. So when I do it, it's my money.
Okay.
I mean, it's ours, but it's been mine. And I've been too lazy to put more money in it because I had to reload the Twin Spires account to bet the damn Preakness.
Gotcha. Okay.
That did not go well.
And you didn't win any money on that.
Not a damn thing.
So now, right, you're a little down on gambling. That's why we got a doubleheader tonight. This might as well be a lock. It's a doubleheader. There's going to be a split. Whoever loses game one, you back up the truck on them in game two. Braves and Padres.
What's our record this season? 7-2?
Well, that's the record, I believe, in doubleheaders. We haven't always placed the bet in time. I think we're like 5-2. But yes, according to my calculation, 9 doubleheaders, 7 splits, 2 sweeps.
David, we did get a text during the last segment, and I feel that I must read it because there's a slight inaccuracy here. But on the whole, he is just saying, why did you decide DeChambeau is a good guy? I never did. Did we vote on that? He's still a punk. Give him a minute and he'll make some stupid comments or actions. I never said that Bryson's a good guy. What I said is I've never seen a transformation quite like what we've just watched. He has been the bad guy. He's been the heel for such a long time. And yesterday they were cheering him on more than they were cheering on Xander Schauffele. That struck me as bizarre. Now there's video surfacing, and I retweeted it or reposted it moments ago on X of Bryson going from green to the following tee, and I don't know what hole it was, and he throws the ball to a kid.
He was going from 9 to 10.
Okay, going from 9 to 10, throws his golf ball to a kid. A man intercepts the ball and begins to take off with the golf ball. And Bryson stops, takes about 5 steps back, gets right up to the rope, starts yelling at the guy to get back and give the kid the ball, which he does.
pointing his club at him too. Flipped his club over, is pointing the handle of his club at the guy like, you don't, and it gives the impression, don't make me climb under this rope and come after you. And the guy, okay, gives the ball to the kid.
So that's a good guy move. Going up to Shoffley when he was coming off the 18th before he signed his card and grabbing him and shaking his hand and congratulating him. That was a class move. There's, he can be a jerk and still do something classy. Both things can still be true.
He signed autographs, signed his hat and gave it away to a kid after the round.
And it's the fact that he just changed caps and went away from the Kango hat to a ball cap. Doesn't that do wonders to make him look less punkish? No, seriously. Payne Stewart could wear that hat. That was about it. Jim Thorpe could wear that hat.
Wait, Jim Thorpe or Jim Furyk?
No, Jim Thorpe.
Okay. I just, I think Furyk wore it for a short time too.
Did he?
I think so.
He'd have looked bad in it with that swing.
I don't know. I mean, once you have that swing, can you look good in anything?
Plaid.
Boom.
So I'm not anointing him a good guy. I am just saying what I watched on Sunday surprised the hell out of me.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I do, normally we do this earlier in the show. I want to ask you a question. I hope it doesn't offend you. I had a big weekend at the house this weekend. Bought beds, had them delivered. Is the next big purchase in my life like caskets? I mean, once you do beds at my age, what's left?
I think there's one big vacation between now and then.
Are we sure? I mean,
well, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But here's the thing, David. You have the means to pull off a pretty cool vacation for you and your wife.
Right.
Because you have the miles with all the flying you do to get damn near anywhere without having to come off your hip a whole hell of a lot. So if you wanted to take your wife to Europe or somewhere, exotic, you could pull that off. So I would think between now and the casket, there's one big vacation.
Because if you think about it, all right, we relocated.
Said that out loud.
I asked.
In the casket.
I asked. So the beds got delivered Friday, and let me tell you, I tipped like I had money. Wow, did they make out well? But then again, I asked them to do things which they're not allowed to do. The company's like, yeah, we're not allowed to touch this. I'm like, oh really? Let me just reach into my pocket here. All right, you guys need some 20s? How many you need? Okay, for each of you, about 4 each. Will that do? Yeah. How about you just make these rooms empty? What do you say? Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. So everything got delivered, got set up. Place looks great. Adjustable beds too, Mark. Best top of the line, up, down, front, back. I mean, the whole way. I could sleep like a pretzel if I wanted to. It's amazing. And then I got to thinking. I go, well, you bought the new condo. Everything's paid off. All the daughter's schooling and and what have you. The cars are paid off. Beds. Next purchase is caskets, right? I mean, what else is there?
There'll be another car between now and then. I know how.
Sure?
Yeah.
Well, first off, we don't know how long I'm living. Number one. Okay. Number two, I mean, our cars have like 40 to 60,000 miles on. Have you seen the price of cars lately? Do you know what I'm buying my next car? Like 2041. Are you kidding?
Well, in fairness, none of us know how long we're living. So
exactly.
Boy, thank you for you going that way,
I mean,
Trent, because I really wanted everybody to reflect on the one part of that answer that David gave. You'll get a new car. Do you know how long I'm going to live?
I was going to say, are we sure? I mean, come on now. I mean, my diet. I mean, I look like a manatee, and there's a clogged artery somewhere. I mean, come on. It's just a matter of where. So I'm thinking, they're walking out, Friday, early afternoon with the stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I think the next big purchase is caskets. I do. I think that's about all we're left with. What else is there to buy? You even said, I'm going to come miles. I'm going to use points and miles for that big vacation. Okay. I don't even know if it's a purchase.
It is. You've earned it.
So, I guess maybe, I don't know, got a pretty big TV on the wall. I don't even know if we're going to do that.
I think you'll purchase a vehicle before you purchase a casket.
Well, I have to admit, this is one of those in which I really do hope you're right. I mean, normally I hope I'm right over you, but this time I got to give it to you. I hope you're right.
I'm definitely more glass half full here, David. There's no question on that.
I just, I mean, I'm not urging for it to be anytime soon. I just don't know what's there left to purchase. I mean, once you have housing, once it's furnished, okay. I mean,
must be a hell of a bed. Did you sleep well?
Oh, Mark, up, down, all around. Are you kidding me? It's phenomenal. My wife tested out her bed. She made sounds in it I haven't heard in years. That's the God's honest truth, too. I was in the other room. She was so happy. I walked halfway down the hallway and said, honey, I don't think you're supposed to make sounds like that with me not there.
What else came with the bed? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. One of the guys stay? Damn. Miller and Moulton.
Up, down, and all around.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Someone texting you can prepay for caskets now, so you might as well get that out of the way.
There you go. It's what I was thinking. I'm like, God, what's left? What is there left? Two things I've come off the hip for in the last 2 years. Bought nice furniture, bought really good bedding. Julie's in so much pain. I can't skimp. She's
That's what my dad wanted, Adam. My dad told me if I spent any money on a funeral for him, he'd come back from the grave and kill me. I literally used the Big Lebowski line with the crematorium. What is the most economical?
Yeah, Logic Man, I'm hoping we just go. We just skip that step. I just hope we, whenever boom, let's just be done. I'm not Sunny. One, the team she's on is not good. And also think about it. I mean, she had like a month to adjust from college to pro. I mean, that's something that none of us are really taking into consideration. I mean, she was playing in early April in college. And the second week of May, she's playing against pros.
Yeah, she hasn't had much of a chance to breathe, really.
And I'll tell you, I
shot better in game 3.
Yeah, she did. But also, they are working her defensively. They are running her into screens. I mean, she got leveled on a screen over the weekend.
Their early schedule is very strong, too.
Yeah, I think, somebody was saying like the first 8 teams they play are all like the top of the league. Or 8 games, I should say, because they play some teams multiple times.
Well, yeah, because they've already played New York twice, who's the best team in the league, right?
Right. And Connecticut's really good. And
Vegas.
Mm-hmm. By the way, very interesting deal there. Anybody see this? So basically, the city of Las Vegas is going to pay every member of the Las Vegas Aces $100,000. It's their way of contributing to the economy and what they're doing for the city. It's basically NIL. The city of Las Vegas is handing out NIL to the members of the Aces. Well, the league's got a salary cap. So the league's trying to figure out, is this legal? Does this, do we have a clause preventing this? I mean, we're a pro league, and essentially the city of Las Vegas wants to go, yeah, that's cute and all. Here's some NIL. Wait, what?
Well, just call it endorsement money and have them do some things for Vegas and call it a day.
Right. And so
that'd be a pretty easy way around that.
But then you get into, did the team negotiate that with the city? Is this a way to circumvent the cap? They're changing their team colors, by the way. They're not going to look like the Raiders. Silver and black. Well, same guy owns them.
They have to give Black Friday to the Raiders. It's so perfect.
Don't you think?
I mean, I'm showing, we're coming back, but yeah.
Right now.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're done talking. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks for listening to the Diamond District Bonus Hour, those of you in the 239 and the 904.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
I don't have a lot today, David, so I may be leaning on you towards the end of this, but we start in 1862. Lincoln signs the Homestead Act. Big Western expansion, kind of a big deal. 1873, Levi Strauss gets the patent for the first blue jeans.
That's pretty big. You think about it. I mean, come on now. That's 150 plus years going strong. Thank you, Levi Strauss.
Lindbergh leaves New York for Paris in the first nonstop transatlantic flight today in 1927. It's a funny little sports quirk story. Today in 64, Buster Mathis beat Joe Frazier on points to qualify for the Olympics. Buster Mathis would then injure his thumb and not participate in the Olympics. Frazier would go on to win gold.
And then you had the 60, 64, 68 champions were Cassius Clay, Joe Frazier, George Foreman. Boom, boom, boom.
1983, the Police release Every Breath You Take. That song and that album were monsters.
And we didn't know that was pretty much going to be it.
Field of Dreams released today in 89. You don't like that movie, right, David?
It's a little too sappy for me. And I can be pretty sappy. Like I'm a rom-com guy. I can be pretty sappy. But I don't know. It's just like, yeah, okay, I get it. I don't know. I'm not being flippant when I say this. But even though I loved my father, we weren't very close. I didn't do a lot of things with my dad.
Played a lot of catch with my dad,
so that's, and maybe that's it, in which I'm watching it. I didn't long for, like I felt that I was missing out between the time I spent with my mom and my grandparents and my friends and what have you. I thought I had a great childhood. I guess statistically I had a terrible one. I thought I had a great one.
Final episode of Cheers was today in 1993. And the last Late Show with David Letterman was today in 2015.
Oh, man. I miss it so much.
James Stewart, Bud Grant, Stan Mikita, and Joe Cocker all born today. That last one was for your mom, David. This one's for Trent. Cher, 78.
Going on 50.
I think Trent's like raising his hand to be her next husband.
Yes, yes, he is.
He's I mean, it's alarming, actually.
It really is. David Wells is 61. Buster Rhymes is 52. And one Jacob Miller is 25. My son is 25 today.
Cool.
So happy birthday, Jake. What did I miss, David?
Nothing really. Columbus died on this day in 1506. But so did you do anything crazy or just send him money?
I just sent him money. I asked him last week what he wanted, and he said, Dad, I really want cash. I'm broke.
Broke? He works all the time.
I know, but the new lady in his life, I think he's done a little bit to try to impress her.
Oh,
had a couple of bills come up. You know how it is when you're set and you're making X and you spend it.
Yeah, it's true.
You
All
get
of a
hit
sudden,
with a couple of things all of a sudden.
to have to listen, I can pay my bills, but I can't afford to date. Okay, it's a tough one. I like you and all. I just don't think I can afford to take you out.
Did he get double because you sent the card, but then you Venmo'd also earlier?
Oh, no, he didn't get anything in the card. I just Venmo'd the money because the card was going to get there late. So this morning I Venmo'd the money.
Okay.
So you actually sent him a card?
Yes.
Be brutally honest.
Yes, is the answer to this question. My wife bought the card. Oh,
well, you didn't know the question. The question was, if you were single, would you have sent him the card, or is that strictly because your wife is the Hallmark queen?
It's B.
Okay.
I usually get him a card, though. I think I've been pretty consistent with sending him a card.
Okay.
But I can't say that I'm positive that I've done it every year. Okay. Money every year.
Oh, of course.
That's all that matters.
When do they leave the payroll? That is a great question. When do they really leave the payroll?
When they provide you with grandchildren, I believe, and then the grandchildren are on the payroll.
Boy, are they ever.
And you become an employee to the parents in your babysitting duties.
Right. Hey, what shift do I have Saturday? 6 to 10? Okay, good. No, you guys go out. You have fun.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
So we did babysit this weekend. We screwed up.
You screwed up?
We screwed up. So they put their daughter in a sleep sack of some kind. We don't. Normally the sleep sack is on the crib. Okay. It wasn't there. We had her in a one-piece onesie anyway. So we just put her down and go to sleep. Well, I guess in the middle of the night, without the sleep sack, she didn't sleep through the night. Woke up at 4 a.m, didn't go back to sleep. Now, parents had a long day yesterday. Not a lot of sleep in the family yesterday. Grandparents screwed up.
Oh, did they explain things properly to you before the night went on? Did they not give you the information, or did they screw up, or did you screw up?
No, they said we screwed up. They said the sleep sack was downstairs, and we should have seen it. It's where the whole, where the change the diaper is and what have you. And we're like, oh, we just thought that was a blanket. So we screwed up. So nobody slept yesterday. It's our fault.
Huh?
By the way, this just in, we're free.
Exactly. You're allowed a few screw ups.
Yep.
For the good, we go to Yoke's Fresh Market in Spokane Valley, Washington. They have not sold one, not two, but 3 big prize lottery winning tickets in a single week, all from the same grocery store. A $4.6 million winning ticket, a $165,000 scratcher, and a $200,000 Powerball ticket. All in a week from the same grocery store.
That's outstanding. You never go back there again, right?
No. For the bad, we go to Plant City, Florida, where Ender Avisquil was picking peppers when a 9-foot 4-inch gator crept at him and bit him. Bit him on the thigh.
Oh.
He grabbed the gator by the nose. It let him go. It was preparing to make another lunge, but he jumped away from the gator. He said instinct and adrenaline must have kicked in as he made the quick action to save his own life. 9-foot 4-inch gator. That's a big gator.
Think the gator liked hummus with the pepper? What do you think Gator was looking for there?
Ooh,
ranch?
Gator seems like a ranch type of animal. Finally, the ugly. We go to Hillsborough County, where Daniel Saez stole a school bus Saturday night and was caught Sunday driving the bus. Apparently, he was on his way from Tampa to Miami in the school bus. When he was pulled over, he claimed he was drunk and high when he stole the bus, but he intended to return it. He was arrested and charged with grand theft auto. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 20th, 2024.
Well, we got 12 games in Major League Baseball today and tonight. We do have a couple of them in the afternoon, first of 2. By the way, it's not the 2 for the price of 1 in Atlanta. It's 12:20, get the heck out of here, like 6:30. They're making sure they get their gates in Atlanta. But Padres, Braves, double dip. So we got 3 hours basically to place that bet.
All right.
This afternoon. Whoever wins the first game, you bet against them in the second game. For what it's worth, Marlins and Rays both home tonight. Marlins at 6:40 hosting the first place Brewers. Rays, do you know they're tied for the final playoff spot in the American League? Twins are technically a percentage point ahead of them, but I think the Twins are 24 and 22 and the Braves are 25 and 23. But right now, despite everything that has gone on with the Rays, all the guys not hitting, all the starting pitching that they're missing, all the injuries they've had during this season.
Smoke and mirrors. They've got they're about minus 30 in run differential. How they're pulling this off is amazing, David.
And remember, they got swept in the south side of Chicago, and they fell like 3-4 games below 500, and they dug themselves back now to a couple games over 500 and tied for the final playoff spot. So there. No hoops tonight. The Eastern Conference Final, Celtics-Pacers, gets underway tomorrow. By the way, did you see the stat that, the NBA has never been a parity league? Because of the 4 teams that are left, T-Wolves, Mavs, Celtics, Pacers, none of them having won the title in the last handful of years. The NBA is about to go 6 consecutive seasons with 6 different champions, if you know what I mean. None of the 6 are the same.
That's very un-NBA.
The last time it happened was 1975 through 1980, where you had 6 different champions, if you will.
75 Warriors, 76 Celtics, 77 Blazers, 78 Bullets, 79 Sonics.
80 Lakers.
80 Lakers.
Right. And that's why if you go back here, 2019 Raptors, 2020 Lakers, all right. 21
Warriors.
No. Warriors were
Bucks.
I thought the Warriors were 22. 21 was Bucks, 22 Warriors, 23 Nuggets, and now 24.
What class did you blow off to study 70s NBA titles the way that you just were able to pull? And I'm very impressed by what you just did, but something suffered. Math, English, a humanities course at Michigan State. What suffered for you to get that knowledge? Because obviously you put some book work in to learn that.
It was math. It was definitely math. Barely passed math. When I got to college, I took all my math classes freshman year just so I could be done with that. Done. More 70s NBA, please.
So you didn't cheat there. That wasn't something that you saw. He knew that off the top of his head.
He jumped to the microphone to rattle it off. I was
impressive.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's impressive.
I know I'm pretty well back to about 67. Then you get to the 60s, and it's kind of just when in doubt, Celtics.
Yeah, so there you go. Well done, young man. Well done. We got a hockey game tonight, though. Got a game 7. 2 franchises who do not like one another.
Vancouver's leading goal scorers out.
Yes, Besser is out. Also, Demko, their starting goalie, will not be back in time for Game 7 tonight, 9 o'clock on the 4-letter network. Oilers.
McDavid and the boys. I like Edmonton tonight.
Yeah, I like Vancouver.
Haven't they alternated wins all the way through this series?
I believe so, yeah.
So Edmonton would have to win twice, being the first team to win twice in the series.
Correct.
2 in a row, rather, to win the series.
Winner to face Dallas. We'll say, Mark, if Edmonton loses, they join the list of, teams that they're talking they may have to blow things up. By the way, Brindamore and his whole staff signed a 5-year extension and come back in Carolina, but there's talk they may blow up that roster. We know they're going to blow up things in Toronto. The same thing could happen in Edmonton.
Well, Toronto's blown it up. Edmonton may blow it up. Carolina, they could bring guys back, but with all the unrestricted free agents they have, it's not necessarily blowing it up. It's not being able to put the pieces back together.
Well, in theory, they can re-sign them all. They fit them all comfortably under the cap this year. They could re-sign anybody they want. You've just pointed it out. The owner's cheap. He could bring that whole team back. By the way, I think he should, and just get a better goalie.
Got to find some grit on that team.
Okay. All right.
Got to find some grit. They're a little, every line's the same, and you can't have 4 lines that are all
little sandpaper. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Look at that. Is that a nice enough hockey cliche for you there? Need to go find some sandpaper? Go get them, boys.
Always throwing the boys in, which is very important. Miller and Moulton. If you missed any of the show, go to millerandmoulton.com to download it. We'll do it all over again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Todd with the Diamond District. I believe in complete transparency. If you're shopping for diamonds in Naples, you're paying too much. If you're shopping in the Cape or Fort Myers, you also won't see the selection you deserve to have. If you're online, there's no human connection, and you won't know if your diamond is beautiful or not until it shows up in the mail.
Just because it's GIA certified doesn't mean it's brilliant. There's so much more to a diamond than its cut, color, and clarity that makes it beautiful. Visit us at the Diamond District for a non-commissioned and educational presentation and quit paying more in Naples or buying blind from the internet. The Diamond District has the rarest diamonds from half carat to 10 carats. You won't find a bigger selection or better value.
And you won't find a better buying experience. Jason and I are in the store nearly every day, and we look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.